listening to the Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On the Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. 1-402-799-1811. Ozzy's over there dancing his life away. Dancing the night away? And then we've got just Jeff over there, off camera, like normal, pretending to be incognito.
That's right. Nobody knows who I am.
Yep. Thank you.
I don't even know who I am.
We're just so glad that you're using that vocal processor to change your voice.
I'm still searching for who I am.
Can we auto-tune him to a Karen voice?
No. We're auto-tuning him out of the Karen voice. I mean, he's naturally a Karen. So.
That's what it is.
Oh, okay. Yep, you ruined it.
It's like every once in a while you hear it come through and he demands to talk to the manager.
I just have one thing. I just have one thing to say. Live, laugh, love.
We have that hanging in our living room.
So who's the Karen? Who's the Karen?
It's not me, because I said no.
Oh.
We don't have anything like that.
Alyssa's sitting on the other side of the studio listening, and she's laughing.
So what you're saying is you don't wear the pants in the family.
That's right. Karen wears the pants in his family.
When it comes to home decor, yes.
Oh,
see, we just have a letterboard in the kitchen that says the dishes are looking at me dirty again.
We know the home decor is not your wife doing it, because look at behind you. It's like a train wreck.
Well, that's not decor.
No, that's my stuff. All my various projects.
It's like a rainbow box. What do you got in there? A unicorn?
That is toner for the printer.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, toner for the printer. We've got a sewing machine back there, a gas mask.
I like the gas mask. I thought that was strategically placed just for the.
It actually kind of was.
Color. It is
kind of was. Kind of was.
Pretty good.
Got a couple other things. Once I finally get a green screen up behind me, I'll have some better things positioned there, like the Bob Ross Ross game.
Wait, you're gonna put up a green screen? It's gonna look like a Tiger King episode where he's doing his internet show.
Yeah. Baskins. You should just change it every single week to like just some exotic random place.
I was actually just thinking the old Windows 3.1 background.
You mean
the screensaver? No, that's the blue screen.
The little bouncing.
No.
I'm talking the stars.
No,
the stars. Yeah.
Remember the maze one? Where
yeah. That's right.
Dude, that would be trippy.
Forgot about that. That's cool.
Yeah, that was
awesome. You just have a game of Pong going on in the background.
Yes.
That would be great.
That is beautiful. That's
right.
funny. Guys, a lot to talk about today. We have what in the world's going on in our country? Like I don't
know. Listen, I got a rant about Walmart. So
that sounds fantastic. That sounds much less depressing.
I went to the Walmart this morning because I have to go early in the morning in order to actually get food, and there's less people
because they're rationing it or something.
Dude, it's crazy. So we don't have that many supermarkets down here because we're kind of off the beaten path. We're south in Jersey, as far south as you can get. There's literally only one or two ways to get up and out because we're on the peninsula. So everybody comes down, and they're all coming down for vacation or their second homes. And then, the food is scarce already. I know Jeff's already done. Food is scarce.
Jeff had too much coffee. He's out already.
Anyway.
He's literally out already. Oh, he's back. That was a fast one.
So
that was a fast one, Jeff.
So anyway. So I go in the mornings. So I'm getting all my stuff, getting checked out on the big conveyor belt thing. That's the self-checkout one. That's the big conveyor.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't do those.
There's a person.
I want a discount. I want a discount if I do the self-checkout.
Directly across
my word, you're one of those people.
Yeah, get over it. There's a person directly across from me, and he's ringing up cat food. Him and his wife.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. Right.
Boy. So was it Mathis?
It was the cans. Okay.
I don't have
so he's
cats.
ringing up the cans, And then he takes and he puts the entire thing over on the side, and the lady comes over and was the I don't know, whoever's watching the self-checkout comes over and is like, "Oh, did you get this rung up?" Because it stopped him because he grabbed the entire thing and put it over on the side.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, did you make sure and get this rung up right or whatever?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, well, I had like 12." And the guy's like this typical, like, you could just tell he is so shady, you know?
Mm.
And I couldn't quite place it. But and she's like, "Oh, well, how many are there?" He's like, "Well, there's 12." And she's like, "Oh yeah, well, did you know these ones were under here?" And he's like, "Oh, I guess there was 24." And you're like,
oh,
"Sure, dude.
wow.
Sure."
Whoops.
And
totally forgot.
Yeah,
Didn't
and
know
she
they
was
were
like,
stacked.
"Oh, well, let's ring these up." And then
Wow.
after that or whatever, he's like all pissed off, you know, and stuff like that. And then him and his wife are separate. I'm assuming it's his wife. Him and his wife are separating their stuff or whatever, and you know, bagging it. And she's asking him, "Oh, well, does this go in the bag for the house here or for the house back at home?"
Oh.
And I'm like, "Really? So you
stealing
rich
cat
people
food? Stealing cat food when you've got 2 houses?
Like, is that how you have to afford your second house? Is by like stealing cat food?
It's like no wonder why cat food is so much.
My goodness. Yep.
No wonder why cat food's so much.
That's the way to do it right there.
You got Bill and Hillary swiping cat food there, and you got no wonder why the beef prices are so high. I mean, you got Jameis Winston slipping meat down his pants. That was a couple years ago. Don't you remember that? You don't remember that?
Nope. Did not get that reference.
Really?
Did anybody get that? We're so sorry. What are you talking about?
Wow. And I'm not going to Google Jameis Winston slipping meat down his pants. I'm just not going to do it. So
it might not have been.
That is not safe.
It might not have been. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it was Jameis Winston. It was crab legs.
Wait, is that his nickname or like
that should be his nickname now?
Oh no, it was crab legs. He was accused of taking crab legs from the Publix.
I thought he was gonna say from the public. I'm like,
yeah, he stole them generally from the public.
His excuse was an employee told him he would be hooked up with free food whenever he went to the store. So I guess he got hooked up with free food and just stuck it in his pants?
Yeah, because when you're given free food, you stick it down your pants and try to walk out the store.
I usually stick it in a trash bag and then carry it out, you know?
But and this was like, after, like, college, was this like something that came up from his high school or college days?
Oh, yeah, this is back in college.
Okay.
It's back in college.
I was like, is he really stealing crab legs as an NFL quarterback? Like,
it's rough.
I mean, so we're watching the...
It's been a rough
the
while.
The YouTube family's watching the closed caption video right now.
I get it if you're I get it if you're a Detroit Lions player, then yeah, it's been rough. Maybe you have
gets a big old thing of crab legs at seafood. He's walking down the baby aisle, and he then says, "Oh, these shorts look big enough," and he.
He literally said that. I'm so.
I guess he didn't put him down his pants. He just walked out with them.
Oh.
So.
Oh, that completely changes.
I know.
So there was literally no point in any.
Well, it's funny the folklore has gone ahead of itself. Now, okay, I say that story. He has changed his life around. Apparently, like he seems to be doing. He seems to be doing
lobster.
He pays for his crab.
He seems to be doing very well.
He pays for it.
Is he still playing for Tampa? Oh no, Brady is.
Who is still playing?
I don't know.
Is anyone still playing football? Is football just over?
Probably.
I don't know, but
no more football ever again.
It's all right. Mathis is fine with that. His team's not going to win anymore anyway.
What's the?
Oh no! Wait, that's right. You're Tampa Bay fan
now.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to admit it on the air.
I don't have anything to admit.
Listen, put your wife on. Let's talk to her about this.
Do I like Tampa Bay? No.
No. The question is, are you going to?
Your wife's voice sounds a lot like yours.
The second mic here is not hooked up, unfortunately.
Oh, that's what it is.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
he didn't
boy.
wire that one up today.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And we've learned that Mathis doesn't actually have a wife. He put the live laugh sign up himself. And he's been using the voice synthesizer to tell us he's got a wife. Synthesizer. I can talk. I promise.
Synthesizer. Yeah. Wow.
I swear it's just coffee.
Where was I going there? NFL guys, are we gonna have football this year? Are we gonna have football?
Yes.
What's it gonna look like?
Everyone's gonna be wearing bubbles from Bubble Soccer.
I honestly
and
don't
no
know.
fans.
Dude, right? Why have those bubble soccer bubbles not been a thing? Like
that might be the only sport. That might be the only sport on ESPN in the future. Bubble soccer.
Yeah, right?
That would be amazing.
Well, I know with soccer right now, because I know you guys love soccer.
Yes.
With soccer right now, they're doing the tournament. They're going to start off with the tournament to get everything kicked back off that they skipped. And it's going to be in Disney at the ESPN Disney Resort thing or whatever is there. And there's not going to be anybody in there except the soccer players in that resort.
That's weird.
And the coaches and the refs and everybody to do those
That's
games.
like a
completely
like foreign environment for soccer.
Weird.
Like soccer is just supposed to be.
I mean, are they going to pump in the sound of the vuvuzelas or whatever?
I don't know. Maybe. I know they're doing that for the MMA stuff. Because I was listening to the guys talking about that because that's back. And they were talking, the two hosts, I guess, who were there were talking about how that, like, you can hear, like, the crowd and stuff, but it's empty. And how weird and strange
crowd
that is.
noise?
Yes,
weird.
they do. They do.
In order to pump up the people fighting.
Weird, right? I think it's bizarre, and I don't know that it's going to be that.
And
I want to say it's still going
NFL's
to be good because it's going to be a sport, but I don't know how I feel about like not having the fans because that's a huge portion.
Although to be honest,
everything.
For watching it on TV, it may be nicer because just over the years, the stupid fan noise that comes through the TV broadcast has just gotten louder and louder and louder. So like you can't even hear the play-by-play because all you hear is the friggin' fan noise coming through your TV.
You got bad speakers then.
Now I'm wondering if they're going to do the same type of thing that they did with the XFL because XFL is gone, by the way, again.
Yeah.
That's so much for that.
Rest in peace.
But with the XFL, they had some pretty cool stuff where they were talking, like they would talk to the coach, which I'm sure was super annoying for the coach, but they had a lot of the players mic'd up. So that was fun. Hear what was going on and how everything went. It was kind of cool. So there was some good stuff that I think that they can translate into making the home experience better.
Do you guys think that the XFL would have survived without COVID, or do you think it was doomed anyways?
It was as much as I loved having spring football.
It was too much.
I think it was doomed.
It's too much football.
Oh, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
It's too much football.
But then again, that's the only sport I watch. That's the only sport I watch. That's the only sport I watch.
There are several dozen other type of sports that are played around the world.
I take that back. I watch golf.
Even in the United States.
I watch golf. What? Yeah.
You watch
I watch
golf on TV?
I enjoy golf.
I enjoy golf too when I'm trying to take a nap.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's a great napping. It's a great napping sport.
Okay, that's not watching a sport.
I enjoy watching the game. I enjoy watching the rounds.
Here you go. Here's something that golf needs to include, and that we're talking about this a year or two ago.
Full contact body checks
on
hockey sticks.
Okay, to make golf more interesting because golf is dead boring if you're.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You're delusional anyway.
Yes, I am.
And now we're doing the 17th green.
It's so calming, Jeff.
What they were saying is
the third is approaching the putt. Oh,
and everyone claps.
Silence, please. Silence, please. Silence, please.
All right, now over to the seventh green. Wait, what?
Here's what they need to do because you always have that one person that comes in that is ready to get kicked off the golf course for just screaming and being hilarious. Right?
Bubba Watson.
They need to
Ozzy.
On one of the holes, just one, let basically the audience be as loud as they want.
It's like warning today on the back nine, hole 12 will be the free-for-all hole.
Yeah, just make it like hole 13, where it's like, okay, you have restrictions.
It's always
on
hole 13.
Yeah, just make it hole 13 because it would be hilarious. It's like
streakers and like people throwing things and just like fights breaking out.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I'm not saying make it a brouhaha, but just make it fun where it's like, you know what? If you want to scream, if you want to be loud, this is the time to do it. Because the rest of the time, they always want everybody to be quiet. And then everybody gets upset that, you know what? Heavens to Betsy, golf is the only sport where you can't be excited until the person has hit the shot and the shot is landed.
Them concentrate.
Right.
That is
hard.
That is based on the history of it being an aristocratic sport from England.
And why are we okay with that? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. Like,
make an American version. Oh,
Oswald wants to take his shirt off, scream and holler for 2 hours in the sun while cars turn left. That's what he wants to do.
It's like the difference between American football and European football.
He wants to paint a Confederate flag. Oh wait, no, can't do that anymore.
No.
Can't do that anymore. Can't do that. Guys, I don't want to get to that right now.
No, I wasn't trying to do the segue. It just appealed. It lended itself to the joke.
We need time before we get there. No, okay,
baseball.
Jeff, have you been following that? You're the baseball guy here.
I mean,
okay, maybe not anymore.
I like baseball. I like baseball. I watch it when it's on.
Right now, the Tigers have a winning season.
They do.
Yeah, that's true. Apparently, they crushed it in the draft, according to a couple articles.
Of course, if they don't play, what does it matter?
Exactly.
The players' union right now is fighting with the
there's going to be no
MLB.
baseball.
You don't think so?
Follow that kind of stuff. Here's the thing: baseball would be the easiest to re-implement because the stadiums pretty much already social distance themselves.
You
like there's just yes, like there's just unfortunately the fandom is down
when you've got
so many games.
When you've got 175 games,
exactly,
it's ridiculous.
And they're daytime games and all this stuff. So like you could easily social distance most MLB stadiums for most regular season games.
So it started out
without losing any revenue because that's just how many people normally come.
It started out with the MLB saying, "Oh, let's do a 75 game season,
right?
And we'll prorate the salaries." And that's where the players union didn't like it. And they're like, "Don't prorate us and give us."
I can't
give us 115 games.
I hate saying that. But
if you're going to work less, you should get paid less.
Yeah, but you're getting paid. Yeah, but why would you prorate it though?
Because you work
you're
less.
Still getting, but you're getting what? Why not get paid the same amount as you would for all of the games that you're supposed to be getting?
Because you're not playing all the games, and the team owners are not getting the revenue from all those games.
They're not going to get the revenue, period, because they're not going to have. From my understanding, most of the revenue from baseball comes from the actual stadiums and
concession
audiences.
sales.
Well, yeah, it's certainly not TV viewing because you never see baseball on television.
It's gone anyway
because there's 115 games a season.
Right.
But the point being, you can't keep. It's the same reason other companies are laying people off or asking them to take temporary unpaid leaves because they're not selling as much stuff, so they can't keep employing the same number of people for the same cost if they're not making as much money. So why should the players
contracts?
And so the question comes down to what's in the contract.
What's in the contract?
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter because they're in a union, man. It doesn't matter because they're in a union.
And what relief does the owner have for extreme circumstances?
I don't know.
And that's probably all written in the contract. If it's not written in the contract, then what's happening is that the teams are coming to the players and saying, "Will you consider this?" And it's a negotiation. It's not, they're not making them take it.
I think baseball is I don't think they're going to be able to come to anything because right now it's as last I heard they were talking about 50 something games now.
I think it dropped to 72 games. And
that's not even with all the teams either. If I'm not mistaken, because I believe they were saying that like some of the teams may not be coming back just because of location and things like that.
Yeah. They are
So-
saying 72 game season starting July 14th. Guarantees players 80% of their salaries if there's a postseason, 70% with no postseason.
Oh, it's 80 now?
Yeah, it's
Oh, it
80%.
was like they were talking
Oh, yeah.
50. They were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
cutting it by
Yeah.
50.
Which was
So-
crazy. I'm just surprised they're coming so
but if
close
you're-
though.
But if you're gonna have to start negotiations, you start low. Because
Yeah.
the union's going to negotiate with you, so you don't go in with
Maybe.
80. You don't go in with 80%, or you're just going to end up paying them their full salary. You go in at 50, which you know is going to be said no, and you work your way up to 70, 80, something like that.
So there's 162 games in the MLB
Yeah.
season.
Yep.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
2,430 total games plus the postseason.
Yeah, it's baseball is long.
That's
Yeah.
dumb. That's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Let's cut that down a little bit. No one can watch that many games.
No one does watch that.
No one does watch that many games, and that's why the stadiums are empty.
And I enjoy the sport, but
I love the
just-
sport,
I like going to the games.
especially
Watching it on
especially
television,
eh.
unless it's like a major game with major rivalry, like it's not.
Ozzy's like, give me the home run derby.
See,
I
well,
don't even like the home run derby anymore. It's just not
I'm mixed
fun.
on
Give me
that,
guys
Ozzy.
on steroids.
Which you're in
Back
total
on that.
support
Run
of.
derby.
Which
Let's
you're in
jump
total
back in-
support of.
Hey, if everybody's doing it, why not? I need to be impressed. So
To Mr. and Mrs. Ozzy, I apologize. It appears that your raising of your son has completely he's abandoned the way he was taught, because I know you guys, and I'm sure he was not taught if everyone else is doing it. That's cool to do.
Listen,
I'm sure that's not what he was
if they're
taught.
getting paid millions of dollars, I better be impressed. So that's all I'm saying.
Entertain me.
That's their sole
Now-
purpose.
Now,
The entirety
your-
of sports is just for entertainment. So
back
why
to
not?
watching the games, I agree that in the park is like a fun experience, is a better experience to go with
Oh,
people,
yeah,
but to
definitely.
actually watch the game, like if I want to watch the game, I prefer to watch it on TV, because you
Really?
can see the pitches, you can see the interaction, you can follow the ball, like you
don't-
can
don't like
see what's
sitting in,
going
like,
on more.
The top of right field, as far back as you can get.
nosebleeds when you're
Yeah,
like, wait, did
yes.
a play just happen? I don't
Yes.
know. Like, no, you're
Listen,
there for the
we
environment and
all right,
being with
for
friends,
that
and you always
Nationals
move
game,
down.
For that Nationals game, we moved way down.
We
Let me
got
tell
some
you, when that
legit
storm
seats by
came,
like, yes.
dude, there was this giant storm in Washington, D.C., man, and it was moving in, and you could see like it moving through the other side of the stadium.
Yeah,
And we were like, we need to get underneath.
Yep. Ozzy and I
now.
were like nosebleeds right field
Yes.
bleachers, and we could see the weather coming, and a lot of other people couldn't. And we were just like, well, we were going to move closer.
We need
Now's
to
the
move
time.
now.
So we
And
got
we
to the
s-
lower
oh, yeah.
deck before the rain
Probably,
hit.
That's
And it
awesome.
was
probably
perfect.
5 minutes before it hit, and everybody all of a sudden was swarmed where we were. It was
That's
great.
funny.
Yeah,
It was great.
It was excellent.
Rain
Yes.
delay? Rain delay?
Yes.
Well, yeah, rain delay,
Nice.
but then we finished the
Yeah.
game, right?
Nice.
So-
Yeah,
nice.
dude, it was like, what time did it start? It started at like 7 or 8 o'clock, and it didn't get done till like 12:30 or 1.
Yeah,
because
it
of the
was a
rain.
late, it was a late night.
Yeah, it was
Ah,
great.
fun. What parks have you guys been to? Okay,
I've been to the
okay.
Nationals Park, and the Braves.
Nationals,
Okay.
That's the only two, and the Greenville
Nationals,
Drive,
yeah.
and the
Okay.
Rome Braves. I think that's the only ones that I've been to.
So Nationals, Braves, Tigers, Blue Jays, White Sox. I feel like there's one more in there. Maybe Cleveland. But I collect. I'd have to go look. I collect a mini bat
Okay.
from each stadium that I've been
Who-
to. Now it just
who in
says
the
the
world
team's
is
name
that?
on it.
Someone
But,
who
Karen,
I know
Jeff.
who's related to them. Anyways, they're trying to go to every single park.
I have my high school soccer coach. Like that's kind of where I got the tradition of getting the little mini bats from each stadium from.
Yeah.
That's something that he kind of did, and he does. Like I think his goal is to go to every park, and every summer, him and some of his friends they put together like a road trip, and they pick like 2 or 3 stadiums, They buy tickets
Nice.
to the games, and they go on a road trip for like a week and hit up
That's
like 2
cool.
or 3 parks that are in,
That's
in an
awesome.
area together.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. And so, but that's I don't do anything that like official, but I just get a bat from, and so like I have a bat from Tiger Stadium and Comerica Park because I've been to both, and obviously
Right.
Tiger Stadium's torn down now. But then like I've been to 5 or 6 different stadiums. And then, of course, you got your minor league teams as well.
Oh, yeah.
Greenville Drive, Great Lakes Loons.
Dude, I love minor
kind of
league.
stuff.
Man,
games.
minor league
games are
throws
so much
down.
fun.
They're
so much fun.
Minor league is a much more fun environment for the fans, obviously, because you're
so
close to the
closer.
field. You're close to the field, and then of course they know the baseball's not as good, so they just have all the random entertainment stuff going on as well.
Yes,
it's like the Arena League football game we went to.
Ooh.
Was so fun. And okay, so when I was a kid, I think I was 10 years old. Dad decides to take us to a Vermont Expos game.
Ooh.
And that was back before they were called the Lake Monsters, back when the Expos actually existed in Montreal. What a failed team. Sorry, Expos fans.
Can't imagine why.
It is Montreal.
And and so he takes us to this game. He's all excited, and we didn't realize there were theme nights.
Uh-oh.
And he takes us to Hippies theme night.
Oh yes!
Oh yes!
Awesome.
This explains why Mathis is the way that he is.
Supposedly, now I don't remember this. Supposedly, like the owners of Ben and Jerry's was sitting right behind us.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Boy.
And so like we're on TV,
right?
And people are passing out, beads and daisies, and hippie vans driving across the field, and
saw some stuff in the parking lot, didn't you?
Pitcher's mound is a big peace sign, and
oh boy,
oh yeah, it was great.
So if you ever get a chance, all right, on in Atlanta, they do and a lot of NASCAR tracks and stuff. So the speedways and things, they will do Thunder Thursdays, which is all the smaller cars. So you have everything from like the midget cars, and then all the way up to the NASCARs, but not. That's what they're called. They're called midget cars.
Yeah, but can we say that?
No, they're
specifically
little
person cars.
They're little person cars.
Midget cars. Anyway, so we went, and they were the next
vertically challenged cars.
Yes. So we went, and there were signs up for the next race, the next Thursday or whatever, and it was going to be the theme night was going to be the Joe Mama night.
Oh no!
And if your name was Joe, you could get your mama in for free.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Joe Mama night.
It was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And this year at NASCAR, there'll probably be Joe Exotic night, and if you have your mullet, you can get it.
If you can bring a tiger,
that's
you.
What are you talking about?
Bring a tiger.
It's NASCAR. If you're rocking the mullet, you get it free every day.
No, if NASCAR gave free admission to mullets, they'd never make any money.
Hey, I like NASCAR. Easy there, buddy. You just insulted half of our audience. If you have a mullet picture, send it to us at www.thefrontporchshow.com. We want to see your mullet or your fake mullet. I don't care. Send us your picture with your fake mullet, like your mullet filter on your phone. That'll work. I'm sure Snapchat's got a mullet filter, right?
I don't know. I don't Snapchat.
Ah.
Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Barkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. We're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
So in the words of my late friend Aretha Franklin, show some R-E-S-P-I-C-T.
Doesn't it sound like he says my great Fred Aretha Franklin?
Yeah.
My great Fred Aretha Franklin.
My great Fred.
Yes.
Instead of his late friend. Well, you know.
Doesn't it sound like that?
I think it's much like us when we're doing the show here. Words get tongue-tied, things get said that we don't mean.
His tang got tangled around his eye teeth and he couldn't say what he was seeing.
Yes, exactly. That right there captures what happens every day.
All right, we're done. Take us out.
Well done, Jeff. Well done. Did I guess you guys did see it because Jeff sent it to us. This is a really touching story out of, is it?
This is all right. Here we go. So it's a story about.
You don't have to lie.
About Chase Utley.
It's touching.
And he goes in the break. He goes, "Who is Chase Utley?"
I don't know who Chase Utley is.
He being Mathis. I just want to clear myself of any accusations here.
I don't know many baseball players except for the very famous ones, of which Chase Utley obviously is not.
So this is an incredibly touching story.
So this is about Chase Utley. I don't know how current. I mean, obviously he's retired now, I believe. So yeah, he's
wearing
now,
a uniform.
So...
He's wearing a uniform, and this is on
this
TikTok.
Video is current. I don't think this video is current.
Are you sure? Well, obviously they're not playing right now.
Exactly. So him being in uniform, I think this is just this thing where they're sharing old sports videos.
Okay. Well, let's roll it, and let's.
I don't know when the exact video is from, because the last time it says his last MLB appearance was September 30th, 2018, for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Okay, so it's probably a couple years old, but it's touching.
So it might. So it's probably from 2018. It's probably.
Why are we doing
news
from 2 years old? Because it's touching.
Because this is the only sports news there is, and it's interesting.
That's a good point. Let's just roll with it.
It's the only interesting thing that happened 2 years.
Here it is, guys.
Chase Utley at Citizens Ballpark. Chase being Chase was signing autographs for a kid who's dealt with cancer his entire life, 2 bouts of it. This kid hasn't seen Chase since that day. This kid is Devin Smeltzer, who's a pitcher in our organization right now. No. And this is Devin. Come here, Devin. So this is that young 10-year-old boy getting an autograph from his hero, Chase Utley. And this guy's a professional ball player right now, left-handed pitcher with us. How cool is that, man?
I'm touched.
I know it's very sweet.
So I looked up. So this must have been around 2017, maybe, or even actually it might even have been 2016. So I don't know why the video is just coming up, but because I looked up Devin Smeltzer as well. He appears to still be in the MLB right now. Ozzy, he was born in Voorhees, New Jersey. Right now he's with the Minnesota
Ozzy, have you
Twins.
been there?
Yeah, I've been to Voorhees.
Oh, just
yeah.
Okay, you've been to every town in New Jersey.
funny,
It's that small.
Not every town, but it's actually not drastic. That's It's okay.
But anyway, so he's from New Jersey. He was selected by the Dodgers in the 5th round of the 2016 draft. And he's played for their rookie level Arizona League. Looks like in 2017 he actually played for the Great Lakes Loons here in Michigan. And then he's now with the Minnesota Twins.
They have a bin that they play in.
Actually, he's with the Rochester Red Wings. So he's in the
Trash
Twins.
Pandas playing a bin.
He's in the that's right. He's in the Twins organization now. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting that he, here's this fan. Not only has he overcome cancer twice, but that, you know, he ended up playing in the same organization Chase Utley was in. So I don't know. I thought it was an
That is
interesting
pretty
video.
cool.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We can just argue. The rest of the episode here is going to be like, you know, negative arguing politics. So we should get the uplifting stuff.
Why are you
know,
prepping them like that? That just sounds terrible, Jeff.
So if you want something more, just stop now, because it ain't gonna happen.
Whoa. We got other interesting news.
I actually don't know. I actually don't know what the rest of the episode's going to be like, because we literally was playing each segment during the break, so I don't know what it's going to be
Aaron
like.
was just right off the bat like, "Let's get into it hard." It's
yeah,
like,
I was like,
just
let's get
ruin it
over it
now.
It was like 2 minutes into the episode, and we're already like arguing politics that nobody wants to talk about.
It
I was like, let's get over
it scares me that he has control of the discussion like that. So that's why I figured I would get some of this in.
Yeah,
it's a good story. It's a touching story.
I'm touched.
I'm touched.
All right, what else we got?
Well, Joe Biden is running for president.
No.
But
Have you
between
seen his ads?
Joe
They're
and Trump,
terrible.
we may all be touched.
Treasure. That's horrible, but so true. Like, I want to be offended, but I can't be.
We're all like the song for this year's election season should be "Sweet Caroline." Touching me, touching you.
I think we should form a duet, Jeff. You and me, buddy.
Oh,
Either that or it's gonna be
okay.
maybe it's cold outside. It's Biden's campaign song.
No, just no.
We're done.
No.
We're done.
Okay, guys. A New Mexico antique
and for the rest of America, the song will be "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend."
It probably should be.
Okay. All right, more interesting news. Did you guys?
Forrest Fenn, an 89-year-old antiques dealer from New Mexico, hid a treasure chest worth $1 million in the Rocky Mountains more than a decade ago. This treasure has been found.
That's pretty cool.
It has.
Now, did you even know this existed?
I remember hearing about it, but didn't really
I didn't know.
didn't really influence my life at all because, well, it's in the Rockies.
Exactly.
We
Yeah, I was gonna
could have
say.
been out here looking for it, and instead we're sitting around
I
like
know.
chumps doing a podcast instead of finding $1
I
million.
know.
What the heck?
So it's interesting. 4 people died searching for this treasure. That like Mr. Fenn
Like,
is.
that's some serious commitment.
Yeah, I know.
So is it really $1 million? What was it?
Yeah, so it was $1 million. It was a treasure chest full of gold coins, 1 pound gold nuggets. Like it was just a bunch of cool stuff. Some jade artifacts.
The chest itself was bronze, I guess.
What was the point of this whole thing? Did the guy just decide he was going to do this?
Yeah,
Was there,
so-
like, an end game in this.
So the guy,
he's clearly eccentric.
the guy was dying of cancer, if I remember correctly, and he thought that because he was terminal, he would do something fun for his fellow mankind.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea.
I'll give him that.
So
And
he
so-
decided that,
especially if you got $1
know
million
what?
to just
I'm
hide.
going to hide a treasure so well, 4 people are going to die from it.
Right. I'm pretty sure he set out
Can I
with
make
that.
this joke?
Oh, just
So a decade
I don't
ago,
know.
so a decade ago, he believes he's terminal. He hides a treasure
Wait,
worth
is
$1
he
million.
still alive?
People die searching for it, and he's still alive. Was this really a ploy to suck the life force out of other people?
Right?
Ooh, was he trying to steal their joy?
Ooh,
Dude, it's
Mm.
Palpatine.
that's not their joy, their life.
It's Palpatine.
He's Palpatine.
Yep.
No,
Really? Are we really coming full circle back to this?
we're back. We're full circle back to our pre-show discussion.
Where we were fighting over the colors
You're
of
welcome.
lightsabers.
You're
and
welcome.
We were not fighting. I was saying
was
I've never delved into any of the canon outside the movies, so I was learning.
I was informing you fools about what is what. let me tell you, and I'm not even that informed about it, but
And we learned that Mace Windu was of the Jedi Order of Interior Design, hence the purple lightsaber.
All right. So this is from fensclues.com. Do you guys want me to read the poem?
yes, I want to read the poem, but I am just enjoying Ozzy's reaction right now.
do it.
As I have gone,
Okay, poem, let's go.
As I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where a hint of riches new and old. That's stanza 1. Stanza 2. Begin it where warm waters halt, and take it in the canyon down, not far, but too far to walk. Put in below the home of Brown. From there, it's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. If you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease, but tarry scant with marvel gaze. Just take the chest and go in peace. So why is it I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? The answers I already know. I've done it tired, and now I'm weak.
I want to see the map
So-
of where this was.
So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. If you're brave and in the wood, I'll give you title to the gold. Okay, so on his, I guess there was some maps, right?
yeah.
Or he gave links to maps, like
Here's
National
the
Park
hints
Service,
and
Google
clues for
Earth, and
finding the
everything.
gold.
And
There's 9 clues in the. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, it's fascinating because he even on here gave ways to keep the government from getting the tax money off of it. I mean,
That's
this guy covered all his bases.
That's awesome.
Yes. I'm quite tickled by the guy.
Hints
So
and clues, need maps, the poem.
But I mean, I want to see like the actual, like, for real, like on a Google Earth, like exactly like following the clues.
Yeah,
where the
so
map led. That's what I want.
the person has not come forward. They left a message on the link, sent him a picture of the treasure,
Yeah.
and that's it. That is it.
That's pretty cool though.
Because
And he hasn't given their name yet.
no, and he doesn't know their name from what I understand.
That's pretty cool.
But either way,
heard-
yeah, he's.
I heard
Yeah.
there were a bunch of people that were whining that were like, "Oh, I knew where it was. No, we just didn't get it."
Well,
yeah, baloney.
Did you
baloney.
see this?
So
So yeah, there's a couple lawsuits that have come out of this just to
Yes.
understand our modern
What?
culture.
Are
There's
you
a
serious?
That's what I'm saying.
Chicago real no joke. A Chicago real estate attorney filed a lawsuit claiming she solved the puzzle, but her solution was hacked. Well, then you should have just gone and got it.
Right.
And then another man from Colorado Springs filed a lawsuit against Fenn himself this last December, claiming Fenn deprived him of the treasure through fraudulent statements and misleading clues.
Excuse me.
that's pretty.
That's what a clue is.
Thankfully,
A
the lawsuit
clue
was
is not
thrown
supposed
out.
to send
The-
you there. And what are they?
The
What
lawsuit was
what
thrown
are you
out in
going to sue
February.
for? Like what damages? Emotional suffering because I didn't get
Yeah,
the
like-
prize.
$1 million because you didn't get the prize. That's so.
What a
so-
DA.
So I didn't know. I didn't
sorry,
know that this
sorry.
was the.
We might have to edit that.
You're jumping ahead of the DA of the day, huh?
Oh man.
so-
guys.
I didn't know this was a real thing. Did you guys watch Longmire? I think we've talked
Yeah.
about it before. Have you?
We've talked about it. I've never seen it
So
though.
there was a couple episodes in Longmire that actually deal with all these treasure hunters coming through his county and like one of them possibly dying and like
Right.
having to deal with just all these out of towners pouring in looking for some treasure from a poem. And I had no idea that it was based on an actual real life events happening. So I thought that was pretty interesting when I saw this pop up, which is why I added the story to Trello, as I get accused of not providing.
Oh no, you provided very well this week, Jeff.
Wow.
As I'm perusing through this website, it's fascinating. Like, so in his autobiography, he kind of lays out the adventure, and he shares the poem, shares a bunch of clues, like the treasure being above 5,000 feet in elevation, but under 10,200, north of Santa Fe in the Rocky Mountains. It's not in a building or a cemetery. It's not in a mine. It's not a dam. It's not that dangerous a place to get to. There are 9 clues. There's a starting point. And so you just have to follow the clues from the starting point. Treasure is likely within 500 feet of the first 2 clues, possibly 200 feet. Book contains subtle clues and hints, but the poem contains all the information you'll need. It's not particularly close to a human trail, but most clues refer to natural places. I think it's fascinating. I think that's awesome.
It was probably hidden in a Costco.
Like, I wish more people did that. And then I was thinking a lot of people do the whole geocaching stuff.
Yeah.
Which is kind of similar, but not the same. I like the idea of the mystery of clues and everything. And that.
So he is like, when he has stuff on his website here, I'm looking at like the 9 clues. He's discussing the clues. And yet, like, when you look at it, like, he has multiple interpretations that people have like sent, and then he's like, so which one is it? Like the verdict.
Yeah,
like,
right.
So he's done a really good job of like not like, I was like, oh man, he gives clues, but basically he just like the need maps. When you click on the maps, he just has links to all the free map services.
Yes, which is awesome.
That's literally all it is. It's just a link to Google Maps, which is like, if you can't figure that out on your own, you probably shouldn't be out in the wild looking for a treasure.
This guy gave so many clues. It's not even funny. It is 42 pounds of gold and coins.
Jeez.
That's pretty
awesome.
Cool.
And so I didn't see the advice. What was his advice to keep the government from getting the taxes?
I don't remember, but it appears not to be on here.
Probably don't tell him.
Yeah, probably don't advertise the fact you found it.
Right.
And slowly sell it off.
I bet he has like a thing.
We do not advocate tax fraud on the show.
Yeah,
no.
No.
Of course not.
Not at all. It probably says, he probably has a note in there that says, email me from a newly made email address, a photo.
There's a burner phone in there.
Do not include your name or your face or anything like that. And just
well, I don't think he planned to be alive when it was found, based on the original setup.
Do you think that there's like, he probably, if he's got $1 million, he probably has an attorney that he's paid to like just take care of this.
Yeah, this guy must be loaded.
What I mean?
I mean, he's an antique dealer.
He's probably, you know,
that doesn't mean anything.
Tax. I was gonna say he probably had some sort of trust set up with the treasure in the trust, and like technically with some legal documents in it that whoever found it, it transfers to their ownership, because it says like, I'll give you the title to the gold in the poem. So there's probably some sort of legal documentation that somehow transfers.
Probably a giant Cadillac. It's a car. It's a mini.
Turns out it's a bunch of gold nuggets from like, you know, Dixie Stampede, or, you know, some like, it's all fake.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
But like, people quit their jobs to look for this treasure. You realize that, right? Like,
I know.
The $1 million, assume you're going to pay the tax on the $1 million. It's like the people that quit their jobs when they win the lottery. It was like, I won $600,000 in the lottery. I'm quitting my job. Okay, so you take the immediate payout, which is like 50%. Then you pay taxes, which is like 50% of that. And then like, oh, you've got 2 years worth of salary and you just quit your job. Like, what are you doing?
Genius.
You know?
Genius. Yeah, I've always thought it was cool, the people like just abandoning everything and going to look for treasure and stuff. I thought that was cool. Like you see that with the guys looking for like the shipwrecks and stuff, the Spanish shipwrecks.
Yeah.
Because what, 50% of the finder's fee goes to the people who find it.
Yeah, but it's just
the salvage operations, and it's like, I understand. I understand
like
the draw,
the poem,
but man.
The poem, you can just go live in a tent and look for it, and your expenses can be cheap. The money to do underwater salvage,
I know.
Like, you basically have to be a millionaire before you go.
Better find it, otherwise you're literally screwed.
Yes.
It was the
like these guys. I've been
just make sure that you don't pull a Panama too many times. That'll cost you.
That's right. That's right.
We who was it? Was it Jacques Cousteau or something? I don't know. We ended up seeing the treasure from the Atocha, which was a Spanish galleon.
Never heard of
it. They brought in a whole bunch of gold to like a local jewelry store in Vermont, in order to just show it off, and like it was fast, like just blocks and blocks and blocks of gold. and we got to hold some of it, and I was like 7 years old, thought it was the coolest thing ever, and yeah, it was crazy. But no, have you guys watched the what is that show on? Oh, Oak Island.
Oh, that is so dumb.
Isn't that annoying?
No. My wife loves it. Dumb.
It
Really?
keeps you hanging the whole time.
I've started watching Mountain Men again. I've started watching Mountain Men again, so I'm going back and catching up on old seasons of it, and I'm seeing the ads for Oak Island in the History Channel app when I'm watching
some of it, but
it's like eight seasons have gone by and they've found nothing. The hole is deeper.
Oh, there's
the hole is deeper.
There's a board here.
The hole is deeper, and then they come up with all of these like conspiracy theories about what's down there.
Yes,
they go down there and they're like, we think that it's this is happening, and this is why this floods, and they have all this. It's like, you know, when you have the movies and they go.
The
into
marsh
the
might be man-made. That's what I saw in the commercial.
They go into the pyramids, and the pyramids, you know, in the movies have.
They really went over to the pyramids.
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, wait, what?
He's talking. He's comparing it. He's comparing it to this.
Or like Indiana Jones, where it's like, oh, there's all these booby traps that are set up that are like literally impossible that you know would exist. You know, it's like that, except you're just nobody knows. It's probably fake.
Speaking of crazy conspiracy theories, did you see the this was from back in Captain America in 2011 predicted the coronavirus?
Wait, what?
What?
Say that again.
New conspiracy theory going around.
I'm looking at gold over
I
here.
sent you a link to a screenshot from the movie.
Did Captain America
Hindustani Times? That's the article you're taking me to?
That's the first one that popped up. It's other places too. It's other places too.
So it's a picture of a Corona billboard.
Corona. And then
a virus.
A firework?
A
firework?
No, it's a virus.
No, it's not.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
Anyway,
I want to see it live. It's probably a firework
here.
exploding on like at a live billboard.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Phantom of the Opera is still being shown.
Oh.
Come on.
Anyways, it's funny. It's hilarious. I agree with you.
Folks,
I agree.
Folks, if you're wondering about this show and you're wondering about the different news sources and how Hindustani Times. That's what Mathis contributes to this show.
You don't like that as a news source? I thought we liked original sources here.
Hindustani while you're.
I thought we liked original sources here.
You can buy
that's why you only use
balloon.
Would MCU
Cosmic.com?
Yes, would that help better? That's actually a better screenshot of it. It's just hilarious. It's like, really, Corona and the virus. Oh my goodness.
We are definitely woke.
Yeah, that's right. Anyways, I had a listener send that to me this week. I thought it was hilarious. Decided I needed to share it with you guys.
I love how he just backs out now. He's like, oh, by the way, that was actually a listener.
Yeah,
exactly. That wasn't really me.
I'm not backing out of it. I think it's hilarious.
Right. Sure. He doesn't mention it's a listener until we go after him about it. By the way, it was a listener.
I'm not. Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not
trying to save
whatever.
your credibility. Sure.
Whatever. I can't. It's like, even if I showed you the text, I can't get out of this. It doesn't matter.
No.
It'd be like, oh, you sent it to yourself.
I firmly believe you have a burner phone that you sent.
Yes.
For example, the first thing that we make now, instead of a cuckoo clock, see, this is a poo-poo clock. And what we did see is we took them turds and we crammed them in between the number there, so that's 1 turdy, 2 turdy, 3 turdy. The turds are all local. We just go out and track the moose, and wherever the moose are, they're going to take a crap. And I have found that when a moose takes a dump, you walk about 50 yards in any direction and they take another dump. And when a moose takes a dump, they'll crap out between 200 and 400 turds every time they take a crap. So it's like I get $5 a turd for these things. So I get jumping right up and down. I get excited when I see a turd.
It has been a while.
Can we get this lady on here? Because I want her opinions on this stuff.
You need, Mathis, you need one of those clocks in the background.
Oh, yes!
A Turdy Works clock?
Yes!
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
We need to call this lady and
it
ask
needs
her
to
the
be
questions about this stuff. Because I would love... we need her and, what's his name? The coach.
Mad Mike?
No.
Oh, Coach Leach.
Yeah, Coach
Well,
Leach.
it's Mike Leach.
We need to get both of them
That
on our show
together.
at the same
Together.
time. Yes.
Yes.
Just start going through. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts?
Alien invasion, is it imminent?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh yes. Oh my goodness.
That'd be
Mathis,
amazing.
I have found for our Christmas giveaway, we should do this. Planning ahead.
With the link.
They have what are called dingleberries.
She
And
has
they
a
are
television
little
show on
Christmas
True TV.
ornaments. Christmas
What?
ornaments made out of moose turds.
She has a
We
television
have to
show.
give away some dingleberries.
May 5th was the premiere of Turdy Works.
I love it so much.
It's amazing.
Turdy works.
She made a stool bus.
Oh.
They sell number 2 pencils. Number 2 pencils.
No, 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 no,
Dude, all
no.
that comes out of those is just crap. Wow.
Oh, that's so disgusting. That is disgusting, guys.
Turdy works.
Oh, man.
Stool sample.
Well, now that she's on
Oh,
TV, she'll never
they got
talk
a
to us.
Facebook
That's too bad.
page too? Trudy Benson.
Oh, that is so funny.
Why is this not like?
They make greeting
Oh, wait,
cards
no,
that say
this
"I
is
love the
different.
crap out of you."
No, that's so wrong. No, that's so wrong. I'm looking through this. I can't even describe it on air.
Where's the thing? The link. I need the link.
I mean, she's got this like. I can't even. No, I can't. I can't.
Okay.
They're just so funny.
Can't
She's
what?
sorting the turds.
Well, yeah. I mean, how else
No.
would you do it?
Nice. You
Like,
gotta sort them by size.
She's got a massive bin of turds that's sitting on the table next to her as she's giving a speech.
Well, yeah.
Hey, if you can do what you love and make money do it,
This is. You know what this lady does? This is
what
a
else
lady
can you
who
ask for in
is
life?
Completely practical, like 100% practical.
I know.
She probably looked at somebody and was like, you know what I can do in this culture today? I will sell people crap.
I will sell crap to
Literally.
people. Yes.
Literally, I will
Yes.
sell crap to people.
And they will buy it.
Yes.
Yep.
And I
they will
guarantee
buy it.
she said that. I guarantee she
prove-
dropped her voice and she's like,
Yeah.
and they will buy it.
Yeah. I will prove it. Yes. Yes. I
Oh.
will
Pick
not.
up crap off the ground.
She cannot take
And people
this
will buy it.
seriously.
Oh, it's so
Look at all
funny.
these women
boy.
swarming her booth that she has.
I know. They just want her
Oh, there's
turds.
a giant moose. There's a guy in a moose suit.
Isn't
That's
amazing?
awesome.
Oh boy, I don't want to know.
Guys, I may
Never
have
mind.
to
Okay.
get YouTube TV to watch this.
Oh my goodness.
I need to see this.
Just for this.
Yes.
No, you
Take
don't.
my money.
No, you don't.
Take my money.
I love how she's looking like she picks up this turd and she's like examining it like, is this good enough for my art?
For my art. I don't know. Oh, the pictures of them
come on,
shaping turds.
Ozzy.
Good grief,
You're the
that's so
art
messed
guy.
up.
Anything can be art.
I didn't
Anything
say
can
it
be
wasn't.
art.
I just think it's hilarious that she's literally selling these things to people. And people, dude, there is a sucker born every minute, man. Let me tell
The
you.
scratch and sniff area.
Ah!
Oh man,
I can't.
Dude.
I really can't.
that's so amazing.
All right.
So
where are
yes,
we going now?
we are going to do a giveaway for Christmas this year of something from Turdy Works.
You better get it quickly before it
We
goes,
need
like,
to.
through the roof.
I will. I'll
price.
order it, and then I'll keep a moose turd in my house.
Your wife will love it.
Yep.
Just put it back there on top of the toner with the gas.
I could hang something back there. Now, it's funny because they honestly, it's not that expensive. No. See why? Is this the same place?
Yes, it is.
Is this the same place?
I don't know.
Mooseturds.com?
Sure.
Yeah, it is. But they're
Yes,
also
this is
doing
her- this is her
they're also
online-
doing goat and alpaca poo clocks.
Well, is it actually
is-
poo
alright.
from those animals, or is it just an alpaca shape with moose poo?
No, it's actual. Judging from the shape of the poo, it is. It is.
Oh,
yes.
yep.
She probably
I see
does.
it now.
I
It's
bet you
different
she
poo.
does goat yoga too and laughs when the goats poop on people.
It's just for her own entertainment.
Yeah, completely.
Oh my goodness,
It's
Second-
completely that.
guys!
Oh, dude, hashtag I give a crap.
No, halfway down. Oh no, that one. Yeah, I saw that
you
one.
saw that the stool sample, a little tiny stool made out of
Stool
a
sample.
birch
With
birch round.
with a
Can you
turd
imagine
with a
sending
turd
that
on
to
it.
your doctor? Here's
It
help.
seems
about
like you've been
right
eating a
below
lot of
that?
lichen.
It indicates you're going to be hibernating soon.
Oh my goodness, guys! Why are we talking about this?
Look, you can get a crap or two.
I don't know. I thought we were going to come into more important issues.
I thought so too, but then all of a sudden we're
It's a crapper tee. On the front it says hashtag I give a crap, and then on the back it says crapper.
You can get a poops. You can get a poopsicle for $15.
no.
You don't have to eat
I
it.
don't recommend eating it. It says tastes like crap right on it.
Shocking, shocking.
The number two.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, this lady is awesome.
Where are the pencils? I'm not seeing the
This
pencils
is
here.
great.
They're on.
I like the. Okay,
I don't
if
get it.
this is
They're on page one.
hilarious.
They're on page
Are
one.
they on page one?
The number 2 pencil.
Here, this is
Yep.
the one I want.
Yeah, again,
Can't say it on the
Moose-
radio.
mooseturds.com.
But I think that's incredibly clever.
Oh, well, you would. Jury mature.
Which one did you want? yeah.
It's just incredibly clever. It's a piece of wood
Oh!
with a hole in it, crammed full of turds, and you guys can guess what it says.
The poop
Listen,
hole.
you guys know how to catch an elephant, right?
Oh, this is so funny.
All right.
So funny,
This is completely not where we were going at all.
guys.
And I love it.
No,
I
this
love
is
it.
not how the segment was supposed to start.
I love it.
The crappy critters. No, it's just. Oh, there's a number 2 pencil. I see it. Now, how brilliant is that?
There it
We
is.
just take a number 2 pencil.
The
with
number
a
2
moose
pencil
turd on the top.
might be the. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Listen
Oh,
to the description.
yes,
Listen to the
please
description.
read it. Please
Kids-
read it,
Kids
Jeff.
won't like it. High quality number 2 pencil with a moose turd on the end. Kids won't like it when they try to eat the eraser because it tastes like crap. When you try to erase with it, all you get is a big old skid mark. That ain't right. So that takes us back to like episode 2 or 1
Episode 1 with
with the
the skid
giant
marks on
skid
America's
mark.
Whitey Tighties.
on America's Whitey Tighties.
Oh man, why do all the funniest bits on the show have to do with poop?
Because we're 4 immature
'cause it's a-
guys. That's why.
It's a really
Although-
crappy show.
This is really sad. Tombstone is missing this because all he'd be like, just move on. Just move
It's like
on.
stop talking about
Yep.
it. Stop.
Yep.
Just move on.
Yep.
So,
Directing us to Moldbug's
Happy
thoughts
crappy
on
day.
this.
I think this
Yeah.
woman is a genius. I need a clock though.
Or Psycho.
I need the
but-
poo poo clock.
Did you see the ones with the hearts on it?
No, I didn't.
There's little.
Is there
turds that
actually
have
a
hearts.
poo poo clock that's like a cuckoo clock? 'Cause
Yes.
I didn't see that.
Well,
one.
it's the first
She
one in
talks
there.
about it, but I didn't
It's the
see
poo
it.
poo clock.
Hold on. Listen, this is.
Oh,
this
but
is-
it doesn't. I thought it acted
For-
like a cuckoo clock.
No,
it doesn't.
no.
It's just a.
For 12.
They needed a cuckoo clock where instead of a bird pops out,
It
a
shoots a
turd
turd at you.
pops out.
The picture
Yes,
frame.
that needs to
shoots
happen.
1 up to 1 to 12 turds at you.
the picture
No,
frame,
it doesn't
guys.
shoot them at you.
No,
but it's
no,
just
it
on
shoots-
the thing and it
it
pops
shoots-
out like the bird.
It shoots them at you.
Yes, it has
It
to.
definitely shoots them at you. Did you see the ones with the hearts on it? For $12, you can get 2 turds that have little hearts on them that said, "Spread that crap around."
All right.
It's
all
the
right.
the earrings. It's all natural, all organic, made in Maine. They're deerings. They're earrings made with deer turds.
That's very endearing.
Look, you gotta
Her
get this
marketing
lady to
is
advertise.
brilliant.
We're giving her so much. We're giving her so much free advertising right now. We need to be making money off. Of this.
I am going to reach out to her publicist and see if we can get her on, because I would love to talk to her. I think
love
she's
this
brilliant.
so much. It's so
I mean, the picture frames. I love the comment
Yeah.
in the picture frame.
yeah.
It's just it's
yeah.
it's brilliant. Oh my
right.
goodness.
So where were we actually going before
don't
we
know.
got so easily distracted by our intro?
Look. If everything holds
That's the
true,
entire segment. We're done.
we probably aren't going to be allowed to talk about anything like this again later on.
Correct.
Because it'll be canceled. And
Nice attempt. Nice attempt.
it was a very lame attempt. I'm sorry, Jeff.
I don't get it.
Your segues are usually pretty rough.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
It is what
But
it is.
that's the joy of the segue. That's the joy of my
It's
segue.
not. It's like a train taking a dirt road. Here we go again.
Your segues are like the actual segue. Like it came out, everyone thought it was amazing, and it's an utter train wreck.
It's like George Bush when he got onto a Segway and just fell off.
Like that. Pretty much.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay.
No, so we were going to talk about this quote unquote.
Although to be fair, was he dodging
culture.
Dick Cheney with a shotgun while he was on the Segway?
Then it wouldn't be his fault. Then.
Yes.
Justified. Very justified. This week, Looney Tunes removes guns from their lineup. Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd no longer are hunting. We've got Live PD got canceled. Cops got canceled.
Okay, so with the Looney Tunes thing,
let's take these one by one.
Oh yeah.
How are they going back and editing them out?
Yeah.
No. This is all future episodes. Will no longer have Elmer Fudd carrying a rifle.
Is Looney Tunes?
Are they creating?
Yes, they are actually.
Like new episodes with Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam?
Did anyone know that?
The
last time I saw
don't
Looney
know.
Tunes in a new movie was Space Jam.
Yeah, seriously. I didn't know they were creating. I did not know they were creating new episodes with Elmer Fudd and
they
Yosemite
currently
Sam.
have a current series that they are making, writing, whatever.
Huh. So I guess.
So what is
Animaniacs
Elmer
isn't gonna
Fudd
come
going to
back.
hunt wabbits with?
He's not.
He's
going
not.
to-
They're just going to chase themselves,
they're
or
going to-
they're going to
they're going
use TNT or dynamite.
They're going to harvest carrots
Whoa,
together.
whoa.
No.
So he's not hunting wabbits. He's helping reestablish wabbit population.
They call it comedic violence, which is okay. Gun violence not okay. Comedic violence, including anvils
We
and
all know how endangered rabbits really are.
Wait.
Because they never, never ever breed.
I don't know
they
that
don't
I've
breed.
I've never seen Elmer Fudd land a shot, and his gun violence is pretty comedic when it happens, and so is Yosemite Sam's. It's comedic.
The quote, according to the producer Peter Braungard, is, "We're not doing guns, but we can do cartoony violence." Like the TNT, the Acme stuff, all that kind of stuff was grandfathered in. But guns aren't.
What about a bow and arrow?
Probably that's fine. Well, although that's probably cultural appropriation right now. I don't know. I'm still trying to look. I'm still trying
What
to
about a
navigate all this.
cannon?
I don't know. A cannon's probably fine. That's not a gun though, unless you're from the Civil War era, and then you call it a gun.
How about a musket?
No, probably not.
What about the fact
What about a
that
blunderbuss?
Ooh.
Are they changing
Ooh, that's
how
a great word.
Elmer Fudd speaks? Well, it doesn't end in a
oh.
T. It's blunderbuss, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Because
sorry about
Elmer
that.
Fudd is offensive to people with speech impediments.
Porky Pig's offensive to ham, bacon.
Bacon.
And people with speech impediments because he stutters.
Right, exactly.
But that's all, folks.
No, guys, this is very
cancel us.
We're done. This is what takes us off.
This is ridiculous.
No, seriously. If this is what takes us off the air, bring it. I honestly don't care. Like it's ridiculous. We are canceling everything, guys.
So obviously, the cartoons is ridiculous.
But they went after Chase the Wonder Dog, police dog from Paw
Yeah.
Speaking of cartoons, because he's a police dog and he's softening the children to rogue policemen and making it culturally acceptable for them to be police or for there to be police. And it's like, wait a second.
Now, you said there was some sort of statement from Nickelodeon on this. So is this one going through?
Yeah. So Nickelodeon did issue a statement on this. And they said, no, this is not going to happen. In fact, they just signed Paw Patrol for their 8th season and are going to be doing a full feature film next year, including Chase, the police dog.
What a shocker there.
So they were like, bring it.
They doubled down at least.
Yeah, right. Which shocks me because it's Disney.
Now,
Nickelodeon and ESPN is owned by Disney.
Insanity. We can all agree on the utter insanity of these cartoon nonsense, but let's talk about Live PD and Cops being canceled.
Yeah.
Okay.
32 seasons for Cops.
32 years of Cops. I didn't even realize Cops was still running. I thought just Live PD was pretty much the new Cops. I didn't even realize new episodes of Cops are running. But here's the thing. Cops is one thing because it's all filmed, produced, then put out later.
Right.
Listen to the logic here of Live PD. You want more transparency in policing? These guys are literally being followed by live broadcast TV crews. These are the most transparent interactions that will ever occur between people in policing. And you have now nixed the very transparent. I get it. If you're, and this is the trouble with the whole anti-cop mentality versus like correcting bad cops and abuses of power, is I understand the show is very pro-police. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that if you're pro-appropriate policing. The insanity of, it's about police, we got to get rid of it, when this is the same transparency you're screaming for. What did all these groups screamed for? Dash cams, body cams, and body cams everywhere, and body cams to not be turned off. And so now you not only have body cams on the officers, you have giant gyro stabilized night vision TV cameras following them around.
Yeah.
And you get rid of it. That makes no sense whatsoever. No sense.
I have nothing to honestly say because I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. It makes no rational sense.
And to be honest, here's the thing. I don't know that people called for the canceling of Live PD.
No.
Live PD went all woke, the network. I just dropped the name of the network.
A&E?
My rage. But A&E just went all woke culture and said, to be sensitive to people's feelings, we're just going to ditch all police viewing right now.
Was anybody watching A&E for anything other than Live?
No, I wasn't. And in fact, I wasn't watching.
Literally what made A&E
Sling.
exist.
Right.
Alyssa canceled. The only reason I was paying $20 a month for Sling was to watch Live PD. She's sitting on the other side of the room, just smiling right now, staring at you guys listening. Ooh, creepy.
She's cross stitching another Live, Laugh, Love. Maybe it's a Gather. Maybe this one's Gather.
Yeah, Gather. Thank you, Karen.
At some point, Madness, I do want to speak to your manager because she's very clearly your manager.
She is. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Guys, did you also see that Lady Antebellum country group changed their name this week to Lady A?
To be honest, is not a change because they've been referred to that a lot.
Yeah, I know. That's the funny thing.
They went by that, just shorten it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And they've gone by that for years now. But because antebellum means before the war.
Like it's the southern, yeah.
Yes.
The antebellum South, blah, blah, blah.
Which the hilarious thing is I read why they picked their name. It was because they lived in an antebellum house in the South. Yeah. They were born in a house that was built in the 1840s. But because that word could perhaps spark some.
And this is what I'm talking about surrendering the language. Okay. You can't do it. And for the same token,
here we go.
A lot of people come out right now.
Yeah.
And they talk about you have to realize how these things make other people feel and the emotions it may spark in them and the subtle racism behind them. And there's some things that I think we all need to reevaluate why words or phrases or things are used in our culture. Okay. I'm not saying all of those claims are wrong. But when we're reaching a point when you have a logical, here's the thing. Do we have to change true, factual, logical meanings of words because of someone's wrong emotional reaction to them? Or at some point, can we point out that, okay, you have emotional reaction to this word. Guess what? Your emotional reaction is actually unfounded. So you need to unlearn. Is it wrong to say you need to unlearn that emotional reaction?
We need to. We need to change it.
Everyone's going to call me an evil racist for saying that.
If people are offended by it, then you need to change it.
If anyone ever is offended by it, you need to change it.
Yes, but it's okay if you're not hurting anyone. So as long as you keep quiet about it,
I'm offended by the anti-fascist flag. Let's change it.
Nope.
No, that's the thing. You can't.
You are not a people.
It's not a group. It's just a meaning, and they're the same. They're the same as our World War II soldiers, according to David Hogg.
He's relevant again?
He equated Antifa. He tried to be by like comparing Antifa to World War II troops. Or
you've added to his relevancy.
Good job.
By mentioning him. Thank you.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now we're
by
gonna
pointing
have
out how obscure someone is.
Look that up.
Yep.
Good job.
There we go. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Don't surrender
really
the language. And like what's frustrating is I have talked with different people. They're like, you keep going to the Webster's dictionary definition of this word or what, and I'm like, yes, because at some point words mean things. And if you have attached all these other weird emotional attachments to a word, you have to learn that to everyone else, it doesn't mean that. So you can't run into somewhere and assign that meaning to it just because it means that to you.
Stop.
At some point, you have to learn what the language means.
I'm offended by you thinking that language has a certain meaning in our postmodern era of relativism. This is why you're not woke.
I don't know. I can't even. I'm trying to remember what the example was the other day.
Listen, I'm offended that you're acting like a boomer at this point because I'm offended by the word boomer and thinking that.
Oh, I think it was an argument over the definition of the word thug. With the looting.
Can we say that word?
They were trying to call Trump's. Well, they were trying to call Trump's tweet about thugs racist.
Which by arguing that they were claiming
thug.
By arguing that Trump's thug comment was racist, they were equating all thugs to be a certain race.
Correct. Well, they say that it's a dog whistle from Trump to all his racist supporters because this is what all white people mean when they say the word. And I'm like, here.
It's a dog whistle from Obama to Trump to everyone.
I'm so confused.
I'm just confused.
Wow, this is some serious 60 chess.
Obama said it in like 2014 or something. He called a bunch of people thugs.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's
funny.
because the words mean things. And here's the game they play. Well, Obama can say it because he doesn't mean it that way because he believes politically the same way that we believe. But Trump doesn't, and Trump's a different color, so he can't say it. And it's like,
listen, Trump's a different color from
it's just so frustrating.
Nobody is orange.
Nobody's orange.
That's true. First off, nobody's orange. So Except Chester Cheetah.
Oh, that's true. Chester Cheetah is not a thug though. He is woke.
That's true.
He also makes some
And I get, okay,
Cheetos.
I also fully understand that there are people out there who have full racism in their hearts and know they can't get away with saying certain words anymore because actually most of our culture isn't racist. And so they, you know, you get all these claims of soft racism. And so people use words to replace other words they know they can't get away with saying. Yes, there are people out there that do that. But kind of applying Scrabble rules here, it's got to be a word in common usage. And the common usage is not that. There will always be people out there using words to mean other things.
Hold on. All right. So here is
You
our
enjoyed
claim
that? I
to
like that.
why you cannot do this. Because of Scrabble.
Wow.
Scrabble
Dare
rules.
you?
Wow. That I don't know.
Well, no,
I
actually, I was
mean,
trying to
that's as relevant
apply
as any
common
other
sense, but I'm
claim,
sure it's
so
awful
why
to say
not?
common sense too. So
You know what? I'm offended.
it's just like, I get that certain people will use certain words as code words for certain things. Those little groups of people exist. If you take their other subtle meaning to something and let it just stand as the one and only meaning, you surrendered that to them. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And things like antebellum or thug or whatever, you have to stand up for the actual definition for the word. And you also have to only use it that way. You can't be the person that uses it as a racial slur and then claims, oh, the definition is that, like, okay, but that's a hard issue within yourself if you're using it that way. So
the I think
Mathis won't comment.
No, I think it's interesting because words do change over years. Definitions do change. And so I guess from that
language
standpoint,
evolves.
Yeah.
But the evolution of the word does not, it doesn't evolve according to what you're offended by.
Correct.
I
So-
agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And so what I'm
happening-
talking about is preventing the evolution of a word into they're trying to force evolve a word into a word that can't be used.
Right.
And I'm saying, no, the still accepted definition of this word is actually this.
Yeah,
And we're
I
not
agree
going to
with
let
that.
you false evolve this. We're not going to let you manufacture this in a lab into something bad. The word has not actually evolved in society to this level.
I think the other problem is you see a lot of words that are antebellum is a great example, okay, of a word that just because of its time appropriation,
Right.
it's offensive because
Right.
it was a Civil War
Yeah.
time appropriation word. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Like the word in itself doesn't even have any bad meaning. It just refers to a time
Right.
Before the war.
You know?
Right. And so
That's all it
because
meant.
it's-
Before the war.
Right. And
Webster's
I think
Dictionary,
that's-
folks.
and I
Webster's
think that's
Dictionary.
part of the problem is you're appropriating words and taking offense to certain words just because of a time period, and because it came from that time period, from the side that you assume was completely racist and hated all black people and was enslaving everyone. And so because it's from that time and from what you appropriate that time being, that's why it's an offensive
Don't you dare
word.
accuse others of cultural appropriation. What? Your culture cannot be culturally appropriated, Osland.
It's true.
Amazon decided that they are trying to figure out if they're going to cancel the Dukes of Hazzard.
Is this really a huge loss?
Because yes, it's a huge loss.
How
It's a
many
great
people,
show.
like, are they showing the old one? Or
Yeah,
is it
it's the
new
old one,
Okay.
and the new one, and the new one.
Well, the new one wouldn't be a loss.
New one would not be a loss. Old one is a loss.
I honestly never really watched.
I loved
not
it.
Really, I have no opinion on this other than the General Lee was a freaking awesome car. I'm just saying.
It was.
And the fact that they jumped everything with it, that is just amazing. So that's all I got. That's my entirety of that. All right, moving on.
Yeah. you got oh,
Yeah.
you've got Congress renaming the forts. Congress is now renaming the forts.
Wait, what forts?
Fort Bragg, Fort Benning.
Bragg, all of them.
Because they were Civil War generals.
They were in Southern generals. Some of them were Southern generals, right? Or is it just all Civil War generals?
No, it was Southern Civil War generals.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Listen, let's just completely whitewash all of our history. That way, no one will ever know what's happened.
Well,
that's basically what
we're doing.
I mean, if you want to rename the fort, that's whatever. Do it. I don't
never mind that these guys were decorated generals before that.
The problem that I have is just that, okay, we're going to get to the point, and this is the real dangers. We're going to get to the point where there is not going to be anything really taught about the Civil War, except for the fact that it's just going to be racist. It's going to be this, and this, and it was a horrible time.
Yeah, but that's all that's taught now anyways. That's all that's taught now anyways.
That's all that's going to be taught, and there's not going to ever be any other history. That means they're going to like close down Gettysburg. They're going to close down you know what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff that has history of both sides.
Well, and you already see the ignorance because people who were like statues from that era who are people who were heavily involved in like emancipation and stuff like that are being destroyed when they're actually would be from the type of history you would think you'd want to preserve. I saw one that a monument to an all black northern unit from the Civil War was destroyed because it's just a Civil War monument and we know nothing about this Massachusetts unit, so we're just going to destroy it. And again, we can get deeper into the history of those things, of were those people coerced into serving, were they sent by their masters to serve? Like we all acknowledge that there was not a perfect side in the Civil War, whether we disagree on some of the things that went down
more
in the Civil
nuanced
War or
points.
not.
Right.
But we understand there's more nuance to it. But the fact is that already people don't understand the history because they're just finding old monument, destroy it. They don't even really know what it means.
It's the quote that keeps coming to mind during all of this. Those who do not understand their history are doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That terrifies me, guys. Yeah. That terrifies me.
And I don't know which is worse. I don't know if it's worse to just not know the history or to be taught a completely biased. And not that history isn't biased in a lot of ways, because obviously history is written by the victors of whatever it is. But you know what I'm saying? Where is it better to be completely ignorant or taught completely incorrectly?
Well, and I think that's the trouble. Like we were talking about before the show, of this pendulum, this reactionary. It seems now the effort, because so many people believe that they were taught so wrong, and they believe that there's a whitewashing, which I don't feel I fully experienced. Like I feel like in my education, well, some of these things they're trying to push and teach now were obviously not taught. Like I was fully aware of the black marks on this country's record as well in my education. I chose to focus on a lot of the positive while acknowledging the negative, because again, I don't believe the country is perfect by any means.
Right.
The trouble is there's a lot of people who try to push almost at like perfection. And so now there's this reaction to it where, like you said, Ozzy, where it's almost cancel all that and we have to teach only the bad. And it's like the reaction to having only heard the good for so long is not teach only the bad and bring it down. It's the truth. Teach the truth about everything.
Right. And we need to just go through, okay, you need to teach the bad, but this is something we have come out of, or, well, I think we have or not. But, you know, it's like going through World War II and completely skipping over what Germany did because you don't want to talk about it. You know, but you know, but it's like, okay, you have to view and look at what happened, because, you know, we cannot have slavery happen again.
No,
you know? That's not something that's okay.
Correct.
No, it's terrible. Okay. It's a scourge. Yes.
It's absolutely horrible, and it cannot happen again. But we need to make sure that we're teaching. Hey, you know, this is how they got there,
and it can't happen.
Justification that they took, And whether or not it's right or wrong, it needs to be taught so that we can learn from history.
And it can't happen as a reaction or a punishment. In South Africa, I wish Tombstone was here because he could speak so much more to this, having spent time there. But South Africa is the example of that, with all the racial tensions over there and in apartheid and in the issues that were over there. But now in modern times, some of the reactionary forces that are now, because of all the years of evil white rulership through apartheid, now there's groups that are calling for, it was just a year or two ago, they're going in and killing white farmers and taking over their lands and forcing them off their lands by force.
They still are,
as payment. And so that is not the answer either. And people argue, well, you're a white guy, so now you want to say, okay, now let's all hug and start over from 0 point, and these poor people don't get a 0 point to start over. At some point we have to, right? Like the whole revenge, eye for an eye, reparation thing, when all the parties involved are multiple generations removed from the actual offenses,
right.
We can't, at some point it has to stop. We can't keep going back and forth, and we have to say to each other, let's seek restoration, let's seek forgiveness, and let's move forward. Well, that's going to happen on both sides.
Jeff, but Christianity Today just called for churches to pay reparations.
See, I was just trying to go through that article while you guys were talking to be prepared to talk about this because I knew this was coming.
I haven't gone through it.
I mean, you basically just said what the headline said. It's not enough. All those things, forgiveness, restoration, whatever, and they're like, it's not enough. And
what kind of reparations are they calling for? Every white person quit their job. Every white person donate 50% of their income to.
No. So what they're saying is that in certain communities, I think it's Atlanta is, or I guess southern U.S. There's a fund to give to people who want to become church leadership or something, and they're saying that that's a start.
They're calling it a Zacchaeus fund. He's proposing,
yes,
and they're using the claim where when with the conversion of Zacchaeus and about all his wealth, how Jesus told him, go and give back, or Zacchaeus basically proclaims that he's going to give back more than he stole from people.
Yeah.
Right.
Folks, Zacchaeus was the active agent in stealing from the people. It wasn't Zacchaeus's great grandchildren.
Heck, a lot of us never even had ancestors who owned slaves.
You just benefit because your family was more accepted because of their skin color.
Right.
Ignore the Italians and the Polish and all the other white-looking people that were stuck in ghettos and not treated well when they first immigrated to the country.
I had ancestors who came over as indentured servants, which chose
that.
Yeah, you mean their
indentured?
Their families sold them into it. But never mind. Let's not let facts get in the way.
Well, all you're trying to do is now get into the oppression Olympics. And you're never
and I'm not. But number one, I'm not going to win. And number two, I'm not going to play because it doesn't matter right now. It doesn't matter right now. Right now, what matters is the current situation that's going on in our country, and we can discuss that. That's fine. But this bending over backwards to pay money or to give whatever to fix the wrongs that have been done. Right. I'm sorry, but there's nothing that we can do right now. No money is going to fix the wrongs that have been done.
No, and
no money is going to do that.
It obviously has not. I don't know. The claim is that generally white people are economically better off because generally they didn't get discriminated out of jobs and the Jim Crow laws and all these things. That's the versus minorities. That's the claim of this, of the systemic economic racism, is that even when technically it was illegal to be racist, that there was still the discrimination. There was housing discrimination where they had to stay in the poorer houses and they didn't get jobs. And some of that was probably directly aimed at them. Other parts of it are part of just integrating a whole new workforce, in a whole new, to some extent, unskilled workforce into the American workforce. There's a lot of things at play there. And racism was one of those things. But how do you you're never going to be able to take all of the world's history of evil things that have happened and pick a day, pick a year, zero out the plan. Like there's always going to be people that historically have more. I don't have the same advantages that a Kennedy has, financially and whatever, no matter my skin color. Do we somehow force to level that playing field too?
Well, some people would like to.
End?
Some people would like to.
Correct, and that's what I'm saying is, well, I'm not. I do not want to excuse any wrongs that have happened, but there's no way you can go in and zero out the entire world's history.
I think the issue is right now we do still have wrongs that are going on. I spent 2 days going through statistics, and from what I've found on multiple different sources, both progressive and very conservative. Number one, there is no racial disparity when it comes to cops murdering black people. That's courtesy of NPR. Yeah. NPR did a study, or NPR covered a study that it said that. Okay. Now we can talk about police violence. We can talk about other things. And I think that is all secondary, but the entire foundation of Black Lives Matter is a complete and utter lie.
Well, and especially the two key incidents that kicked off.
Now we can talk about current racism.
Black Lives Matter.
Yes,
you're saying
I'm saying the organizations, because I do believe that Black Lives Matter, but not through the hashtag organization of Black Lives Matter. I do not think we need that. I think they are a progressive political arm that is trying to get. I mean, just look at what they stand for. Excuse me. Listen to what they stood for back 3 weeks ago before they changed their website to cover up. To sound nicer. Yes. Because they've been changing their website every couple days.
The web traffic is getting more and more, so they're softening it. See, the trouble is they're an organization that is the religious they're essentially an amalgamation of the religious teaching of Jeremiah Wright, the politics of Lenin and Trotsky, the tactics of Saul Alinsky, and they're funded by money from people like George Soros. So this is, and it's all just kind of coming together like that. That's the trouble. And less politically aware people don't realize that, so they'll jump on board with the hashtag because it sounds good,
and it sounds right, and it's based on truth.
Tactics.
It's based on truth. I'm sitting here in the camera waving "Rules for Radicals."
Who is that book?
Saul Alinsky.
Who is that book dedicated to, Mathis? Read me the dedication.
The dedication in the book. Do
you know off the top of your head? I know. That's why I'm asking.
I do not know off the top of my head.
It might not be in that copy.
I'm not sure. Who was it dedicated to?
Here, I want to get the actual wording.
So, all right. So then what do we do about bringing...
I believe here, Saul Alinsky, it says, lest we forget at least the over-the-shoulder acknowledgement of the very first radical from all our legends, mythology, and history, and who is known where mythology leaves off and history begins, or which is which, the first radical known to man who rebelled against the establishment and did it so effectively that he won his own kingdom, Lucifer.
Correct.
That's in Rules for Radicals.
Literally, that book is dedicated to
the
original...
Your enemy.
The original radical.
I don't
Lucifer.
have... I'm not blowing a vein or anything.
And those are the tactics being used. And then we have people, Christians, saying that if you can't stand with Black Lives Matter because of this injustice, because of who they associate with, you don't know the real God, and that's not real Christianity.
You have an organization based on the first real radical that uses the tactics and uses the principles of Saul Alinsky, who took his suggestions or his ideology from Lenin, from Karl Marx, who took from Trotsky, Guys, these are bad people. These are bad players. And that is not to say that the cause is not just. I want to be very clear about that. The cause is just.
That's how you manipulate. You sprinkle truth. If someone comes to you with a flat out bald face lie, your BS meter calls it.
Not bald face. Bold face.
I believe it's bald face.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Bald face? Bold face. Who is bold face? Anyways.
We just got hung up on that.
I know, I'm sorry.
We're going to Google that. Here we go.
Words matter,
Merriam-Webster.
Ozzy.
But doesn't
Words
matter.
matter.
Words matter, Jeff.
If it comes to you, here we go. Blah, blah, blah. If you want a descriptor, you have opted for barefaced, less frequently liars, blah, blah, blah. By the mid-20th century, didn't sound awful enough, and the term bald face began to describe lies and liars. That's from...
I apologize, Jeff. Words matter.
That's from Merriam-Webster again.
A thing, though?
I don't know.
It might be because
is that like
if you type it in bold font, that's like if you type it in. That's not speaking it out of a face with no beard. That's typing it in bold font. That's what bold face is. No, so when you just see a straight out lie, you're like, meh. Like that's not. I'm not falling for that. When there's a lot of truth mixed in, and especially emotional truth, muddying the water, you're like, okay, well, yes, these lives do matter. Like, I don't want to see people killed. I believe we're all created equally. Like, you get drawn in by the truths, and that's kind of the thing, you know. So you've got to watch out.
So here's where I'm at. I think Black Lives Matter as an organization is an absolute terrible organization. I think we do have institutional and perhaps systemic racism in our country that we're still dealing with and working through. It started back with the writing of the Constitution, the 3/5 compromise, that black people were not full people.
Okay. Well, yes, people at the time did not believe that they were equal and that they felt that they were inferior people. I believe that's a disingenuous comparison when people say because of the 3/5 compromise they didn't.
No. The point that I'm making there, though, is that from the foundations of our country, there has been a history that some people are not worth it to a majority of people. To a majority of people. And I think that's permeated our system. So I was doing some research on statistics. All things the same, middle class or upper middle class white folks versus upper middle class black folks. The black folks are going to be more likely to be denied a mortgage than the white folks. Just blanket, all things the same, income's the same, looking for houses in the same area. The black people are going to be more likely to not be given a mortgage. Why is that? I don't know. Your name's Jamal. You show up at a job interview. You are less likely to get that job. All things the same. Your resume is basically the same. If your name is a black name, you are less likely to get the job.
What years does this data cover?
I do not have the data in front of me. I can try to find that for you. But this is fairly recently.
And you're sure everything's truly the same?
Yes, they even across the board,
interview performance and everything else.
That is a great question. All I know is that they said everything being the same. And so the problem is
the trouble is we have to remember correlations do not prove causation.
And I agree. And that's the problem with all statistics. Now,
and especially statistics like this are very tough to gather and judge. They're not in a controlled environment. A lot of it's self-reported. It's a hard thing to study.
Yes, it is.
And it's good to use the statistics that we have. And so the statistics seem to be pointing in a certain direction. So now we need to go to the next level and see.
So I guess what I'm saying is you look at that and you combine that with what Ozzy was saying last week about governmental racism. I would call it institutional racism. Okay. With the starting of Planned Parenthood, the perpetuation of the funding of Planned Parenthood, with all the other situations like the gerrymandering of mortgage districts that specifically limit where funding for houses can be allocated. Federal funding, federal loans can be allocated. Specifically eliminating those black areas. Questions have to be asked, and I want to know the why. So I'm not saying. All I'm saying is that the overwhelming evidence suggests that we still have some major issues in our country today, and that we have to be asking the why.
Which is that a surprise? In that only 200 short years?
No, it actually does surprise me because I think that the overwhelming majority of people are not racist. I think most people aren't racist, but the problem is we have this latent racism that is still pervading our country that we will not acknowledge.
Well,
and we don't want to talk about.
Okay.
Sorry, Ozzy.
Let's Ozzy.
Yeah, Ozzy. Sorry.
So, do we think that this is something? Because the more that I look into this and see it, the more I think that it's not specifically the people, that are the common people that are doing this that are blatantly racist. There are people that are.
Oh yeah, there absolutely are. We've all met them.
We've all run into them.
We've all got that crazy family member.
The majority of people are on board with, okay, let's eliminate this. Let's get rid of it. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. This is what I see is that you have these government institutions or large corporations that have invaded and slowly manipulated, I guess if you want to call slavery, and have manipulated it into something and just turned it slightly.
What?
That's my concern too.
And that we've just been so duped into or sleight of hand where it's like, hey, look over here, and we've all been looking over here while they're slowly turning something else into this.
What is the driving
seeing it?
What is the driving worldview and philosophy behind that?
Control, money, greed, corporatism.
That's what I think.
What is the fundamental worldview behind that? Progressivism. Progressivism teaches the autocratic rule by the enlightened expert view that are above the unwashed masses. That came out of Germany in the early 1900s. We're talking like
whoa! It's like you're quoting Marx here. Easy.
And this is where this stuff came from. And guess what? In that early era, as our country was young and fledgling with its educational institutions, a lot of enlightened, rich people who became big politicians, et cetera, went to Germany or sought out professors and educators that came from Germany, teaching those political and worldview ideas. They either came to the country and taught here, or people went there that was considered the high educational, the place to be was to get your education from those German philosophers at that time. And that is where it worked its way into the American elite families and the politics at the time. And so that same worldview.
The Rothschilds,
here's the question.
Vanderbilt.
I'm not going Illuminati here.
I'm going there.
Again, cannonball.
So, okay, here's the question is, all right, so in our country, because I'm not going to get into like the whole political views of the 1860s and things like that.
No.
But that's where this started.
It did start.
Do you think, here we go. Do you think that in our country that the Civil War was a turning point for the people to eliminate racism?
No.
And no. The people, not the government, the people to eliminate racism. And that over the past 40 years from the 60s or early or mid 1860s to the early 1900s, that everything was healing, and then you have people back into the 1920s and 30s being influenced by Marx, being influenced by
I've actually had that thought the other day.
All of these other things, and are bringing it back around from the healing section of that, and manipulating people into saying, hey, you know what? We can manipulate What groups of people should we manipulate?
Politics,
I
let's
don't-
man.
manipulate-
Politics.
I don't
This,
know
this,
that
and
I would
this.
call the Civil War the turning point. It's hard to point to one specific turning point. I think more recently, things were starting to heal between people.
How
the
recently
people.
were we talking?
I look, we had a black president, guys. I don't know if
I'm
anyone
talking-
remembers that.
I'm talking like from the 60s on. I'm talking
Okay.
out of those court
Maybe?
cases, Brown versus the Board of Education, and all those things, and the
Maybe?
busing, and going through some of that racial stuff and those tensions. I feel like from that point on, it was improving, and now it's been re-stoked and re-attacked by politicians. I don't think immediately post Civil War it was really any better, because that's where you get into Jim Crow and that kind of stuff. And I mean,
Right,
that
okay.
wasn't federal, that was locally.
Yeah.
The southern states that lost the war were like, okay, you're going to force this on us. We're going to come up with all this locally. I mean, we've got here in the notes, we might get to it. Yesterday was what they call Loving Day, which is about the Supreme Court case of Loving versus
Yeah.
Virginia, which eventually struck down multiple states' bans on interracial marriage. And that was in the 60s, I believe.
Well,
when
isn't that crazy though?
court case
Like,
finally went through.
if you guys haven't seen the Free State of Jones, that is a big driving factor in the movie. You guys got to see it.
And literally,
see
these
it. I don't wanna
people, they got married up in Washington D.C. or something, but moved back to Virginia, and they literally just got woken up one night by the police showing up and telling them that they were committing a crime by cohabitation, and they're legally married, and they were given the choice to essentially split up or leave the state or go to jail for a long time or something like that. And so they left the state, and then eventually the court case was brought, and eventually the Supreme Court struck down like 14 or 16 different states interracial marriage bans. But so you had states still doing these things, and who are enacting these things? The people.
But states though. But that's what I'm saying.
But it's the
people
people in
being
the states.
But are they being manipulated by the government in its teachings?
Directly
Do you
right
see what I'm
after the
saying?
Civil War? I don't think so. And that's where I'm
Yeah,
saying I don't
directly after, I
know
think-
that the Civil War was the turning point. But I think as we got into the 60s, as these court cases started coming out, as people started saying, look, man, I want to be free to do my own thing. Even some of it was kind of the hippie thing, like kind of a rejection of some of the more standardized culture of
Jeff's
the day.
praising the hippies.
I don't know that I'm praising the hippies, but I'm saying that
easy there, buddy.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Easy there.
Don't put words in my mouth. But
I
you
never
saw
thought the day would come.
You saw
Watch
this
out.
era. You saw this era where, for mostly for worse, but in some ways for better, people started rejecting traditionalism, and I think throughout that era, I think healing eventually started. And I think you're right. I think that a lot of the scabs and stuff are being peeled open by politicians, groups, maybe even not specific people that are angling for power.
Well, they're stoking the flames.
The way to get power is to stoke division.
Right.
And so they rip off the scabs to stoke division to rise to power.
If they divide us, they win. Look who is trying to divide, and you will see who wants power.
Correct.
And those who are trying to unite, they don't want power. They do not want power.
Right.
If you have people trying to divide you, they have ill intentions.
And this is why education is so crucial, is because you have people who are misinformed or just, let's think about young people, all right? Because a lot of these riots are a lot of young people, a lot of the rioters that are going looting and things.
The actual rioters. The actual rioters, not the protesters, the rioters.
Yes.
Those, again, words mean things.
Okay. And so you're looking at younger kids, I would say probably from their late teens to early 20s, okay? But who are just inexperienced and maybe not taught what has happened and what needs to happen. You know what I mean? And so they're working off of, it's pure emotionalism. Okay,
well,
this is what
they're taught directly opposite, and they're taught that it's all out to get you. You've gotta push back against the system.
So you have this group or generation of kids who have been brought up with this entire idealism that was taught throughout their entire education, and then now is being stoked by social media, by TV news, by Twitter, by whatever else. And let's be honest, it's really easy to find somebody who has your exact opinion and what you believe, and to help re-emphasize what you believe.
Yeah.
It's really easy to find that. And if that's what you're looking for, and that's what you've been taught, and this is what they're being taught in universities and everywhere else, is that, this is, why are we surprised that this is happening? This is exactly what should be happening by what we've seen these kids being taught.
Yep.
Yeah, we surrendered the education realm to a worldview that's completely antithetical to what we would understand as our values and of equality and justice and everything else. And we've surrendered all of that. And then we just figured, it's just a bunch of crazy old kooky, professor types. They'll stay on their college campuses and it won't bother us. And now they've taught in another entire generation who has swallowed it hook, line, and sinker so much that some of the older generation are like, whoa, slow down, Ocasio-Cortez. We can't come out and say we're for this yet. The window hasn't shifted enough to just go full Marxist. We can't do it yet. And they're ready to go. And you take that too with just like the youthful exuberance of like people just looking to get in trouble, and now there's an excuse to go out and get in trouble. That's what some of it is, And
the one thing that I keep coming back to is those who forsake history are doomed to repeat it. And the other big thing is the idea that if we aren't willing to admit our faults, like, and I'm saying this to both extremes here.
Correct.
We need to be able to admit our faults. I think
the reaction on one side cannot be to deny its faults just because they're being accused of a lot of other ones.
And that's my biggest issue with the GOP right now, is the GOP has a blanket statement basically that there is no racial animus at all that has ever existed since the Civil War, or since the Jim Crow era, since segregation has been lifted. And it's like, whoa, that is not true.
And I think turning and reassessing what's happened is very, that needs to happen. We need to reassess. We need to look at it and go, you know what? Is there something? Has there been something? Is this something that is driving my biases at this point in time still? And if it is, why is that? I hate the unconscious bias thing. I hate that so much. But I think that if we're talking
maybe it does have a play here.
Unconscious bias.
Well, some of those things exist.
That's being a bias that is taught, but you do not realize is something that should not be.
And that's what their claim is that it's you're just out with this your whole life and you think it's right. Those things exist. Those things exist all over the place. Those things exist in your preference of food or your preference of sporting events or whatever.
I don't have a problem with it. And you know what? If that makes you reassess, then that's great. That's what needs to happen. But
the way it's being pushed and what they're claiming is not, it's not at the level they're claiming.
Right. And I think the other thing that's being claimed is essentially that, you know what, with your unconscious bias, you're never going to look at this with new eyes to reassess. And if you do reassess, you're just going to come to the same conclusion. Like there's no hope of redemption. And that's the other problem is that, you have a group of people that are saying, hey, you know what? You're never going to get it. You haven't lived my life. You haven't done this. You haven't done that. But there's no way for reconciliation because everything you do is impossible to reconcile.
Yeah. They don't want reconciliation. They want revenge.
The Black Lives Matter organization does not want reconciliation.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Because the reconciliation doesn't provide the power.
Look at their response to the cops hugging the protesters or the protesters hugging the cops. Black Lives Matter came out against that. The organization came out against that numerous times.
And and here's, like, you're talking about unconscious bias. The other issue I have with that is that looking at everything you see coming across your social media feed, your actual media feed, everything else, you would believe that only exists on one side.
Right.
That the other side, because
Right.
of whatever emotional and literal trauma and stress and experiences they've had, their experience is 100% true, and yours is
valid.
not.
And justified.
And here's the thing. Sometimes this is a situation where there is no impartial observer, so it's kind of impossible. Everyone is part of the game, whatever the situation. So there is no true impartial observers. But the other side is also sometimes too close to the situation to accurately reflect and observe. So when some bad things have happened to people in your family, in your life, and they've passed that negative experience down to you through stories, you're now being taught an unconscious bias as well, right? So if you're being taught the police are out to get you, you now have that unconscious bias that you're bringing to the table. Well, people on the other side of the aisle are being taught the country's perfect now, and there is no racism or whatever, and they're bringing that.
But Jeff, that is systemic bias. That is systemic bias. You just addressed systemic racism right there. It is biases that have been taught to us without us even thinking it or knowing it or realizing it.
Right. And this
correct. But what I'm saying is, what is being told to us right now is that's all on one side, and the other side is perfect and angelic, and both sides are bringing
what I'm saying
to the table that is inflaming the issue.
So what I'm saying here, though, to Ozzy's question back 20 minutes ago, how do we fix this? What do we do to fix this? What do we do to fix this? So instead of just ranting about it, let's come up with a solution. Interpersonal communication. I'm going to assess my biases. I don't necessarily think I have any, but maybe I do. I'm going to evaluate. I'm also going to be empathetic.
This is also why we have to view. This is also why, like, again, I'm going to harp on this again, is why you have to have something that you can look at that is absolute truth.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why
shocking.
As Christians, you have to be able to measure yourself between what God's truth is and where you're at.
Yes.
Because if you have a moving scale, you will never be able to figure out what are my unconscious biases, what biases do other people have, what is this even something that's valid?
You can't fix a spiritual issue with a spiritual issue with a secular fix.
Right.
It's not possible.
Correct. Mathis, to what you said about being empathetic to other views, and the other important thing to remember is empathizing with other views doesn't mean accepting their total veracity if you examine those views and you find some untruth in them.
I examine the views of Black Lives Matter organization.
And
both but forget the big organizations. When you sit down across from another person to person, you can listen to their views and you can acknowledge them, but that person has to be open to you saying, I think this, and this are false premises in your views. Not because you're evil, not because you're coming at me with an agenda and you hate me, whatever. You have some odd, weird biases that you were taught because of your experience, or you learned because of your experience. And guess what? That person's going to turn around and look at you and say, well, guess what? You've got this, and this.
Jeff and I literally do this every day.
And you both, exactly. This is, if you could see our conversations,
good grief.
We hate each other. And we poke at each other, and it
strengthens each other's views, though.
I just stoked the flames.
And our views have changed on things
absolutely
as we've done this, right? Like
absolutely,
I think we both have seen ourselves move.
We've both gotten soft, Jeff.
We're pointing out it's pretty much what happened.
I know.
Coming around to my viewpoints finally.
Well, yeah, of course. As you sit in our taxi and just go
and throw grenades at everybody.
Yes.
But
you're right. Dialogue, conversations.
The only way you can do that is engaging through dialogue, and then yes, you have to be willing to admit when you're wrong. Unfortunately, what I see in most dialogue being presented right now is that one side is perfectly factually correct, and the other side just has to wake up and realize it because the experience the other side has been through.
But that's
not dialogue.
But that's the entire. Think about it.
You must come to my side, or I'll destroy you.
Ridiculous premise of, and this is what I hate about the GOP is they do this all the freaking time. Look at Fox News.
Let 'em go. Yes.
You look at somebody on Fox News, they bring on some dude because think about it, all they want to make is money. How do you make money? You get on controversy
they want
and you
clicks.
make money.
Get everyone yell. Everyone yell at each other.
But you know, like you have Sean Hannity or whoever the heck else is out there. They don't care about your view because they're just going to take you on and hammer you to death. And their audience is going to love it.
And also,
so how do
Tucker Carlson does that every day.
How do you make people sit down? Because this is what they're viewing on the left side. This is what they're viewing happening.
It's gotcha. It's gotcha politics.
Yeah.
It's gotcha politics.
All it is, because that's what makes
we never actually have a discussion.
That's how you divide the country, and that is how you control the people. Is by
yes.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I'm
there
done.
He is.
Exactly.
Drop my mic.
There we go. We're done. We're good. I really hope that we
now everyone hates us.
I know.
Yes.
I keep telling you guys, I'm a man without a party. Liberals hate me, conservatives hate me. I'm screwed. Now so are you. So welcome to the club.
Dragging us down with him.
Dang it.
Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory. It may get bigger, it may get a little bigger, it may not get bigger at all. We'll see what happens. But regardless of what happens, we're totally prepared.
Be quiet, Ozzy.
I'm not totally prepared.
Every time that intro plays, all of a sudden I see Michael Scott sitting there.
I am never totally prepared for that intro.
No, Bjorn, is it? It kind of just hits you out of left field, doesn't it?
Yep.
I thought that was the invasion intro, wasn't there? Isn't there the one where
storming the ramparts,
Putin invading
flops around
Russia or something?
We gotta keep the music going because otherwise it's dead air.
Okay. So
it may get bigger.
We have some candidates.
No.
We have some candidates.
So you're the one that made the intro
of the day.
It was our president who said it.
One of them is Ozzy.
That makes it worse.
Our president said it.
Imagine the awkward things that Uncle Joe is going to say. Dude.
I can't wait.
The best intros ever.
Going to say.
Corn pop.
We need a corn pop intro.
We do. His name was Corn Pop.
Jeff's trying to get all serious again.
All right.
Oh, sorry, Jeff. Jeff. You're doing a great job here. You're doing a great job here.
I'm trying to dig us out of the Marianas Trench right now is what I'm trying to do.
Nope.
No, you're not.
Anyway.
Are we done? That's the whole show. We're done.
Where are we going to start?
I don't know. We could start with invading Poland.
We could start with obviously are at the top.
Where are we?
We could start with invading Poland. We could start with the C.H.A.Z. And we're not talking about C.H.A.Z Bono either. We're talking about the C.H.A.Z, the C.H.A.Z in Seattle.
The capital, the Free Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone.
No, let's start there. Guys, 12 square blocks or 6 square blocks. I don't know how much of it is. It's a bunch of it. Bunch of Seattle right now.
I just love how he launches
I don't know.
Like number and then he's like,
so
I don't know.
I have heard conflicting numbers. I've heard six square blocks. I've seen 12 square blocks, and then I counted this number of blocks, and I can't really tell because there's like parts splitting them all up. Yeah, but a large area of downtown Seattle is now occupied by
Let me tell you.
freedom fighters.
Let me tell you, there is nothing like a cardboard sign to tell you that how serious this is.
That right, absolutely.
It
was not very.
It's
I mean, what do you
Occupy Wall
expect?
Street.
what
Occupy
do
Wall
you
Street
expect?
2.0.
They probably trashed the FedEx whatever. What is that thing called where you the Staples?
I don't know
There
what
we
you're
go.
talking about.
They probably trashed the Staples where they could get signs made, so that they had to come up with just cardboard. They were like,
Well,
I got a
That was not
Sharpie.
They
nearly
raided
Black
the
and
Staples.
red Sharpie.
They raided the Staples, but didn't have anyone to run the copy machines.
All right, so what is happening is they've just basically camped out in this area, and they're supposedly taking it over and running their own way. They've got barriers. They've got, like you said, your cardboard signs up that say you are entering Free Capitol Hill, and they're supposedly armed guards patrolling their area. Now,
where did they
rumors
get
are they achieved peak.
Where did they get the guns from? Aren't they against
No.
guns?
See, this is the great thing about 2020 is that now liberals are not against guns.
Oh.
We are in favor. They are in favor
they're
of them.
okay
Have
with
'em.
guns for protection.
Yes. Haven't you seen through this whole coronavirus thing and the start of the protests is that liberals now are asking their conservative friends for firearms and can't understand why there's so many canoe accidents?
Wow, that took a while, Jeff. Is Jeff on
No,
a
there's
6-second
no.
delay?
No, I am on a 6-second delay because there was a big when you cut in earlier. There was a big delay, so we've got a lag in the audio.
We've got a lag here somewhere. I apologize for that. No, so yeah, like liberals have been asking for firearms
here's
for protection.
the group. The Puget Sound John Brown Gun Club is who showed up because there was rumors the Proud Boys were going to show
So
up. which
I
were
have actually
purely just
heard of
rumors to
them.
stoke things.
I've heard of them. They are a liberal organization. Yes.
Anti-racist.
Yep.
Here's the description. They're an anti-fascist, anti-racist, pro-worker community defense organization committed to accountable community-led defense in the Puget Sound region of Western Washington, the Pacific Northwest.
So commies with guns,
We
what could
believe
go
in
wrong?
active resistance to the corrosive, destructive social effects of white supremacy, sexism, bigotry, and economic exploitation. They're supposedly their name comes from the abolitionist John Brown.
Okay.
But
I mean, okay.
Ironically,
Great.
the picture they show for We Train in Defense, of course, shows a Kalashnikov. Because why else would it not be a Kalashnikov? But it's commies with guns, and they're showing up to defend this area. But the thing is essentially they're just a giant protection racket. They're checking IDs. You can't come in. They're free. It's a free zone. But you
a free
can't come in
zone
unless you show
and,
ID.
and you have to you have to have permission to leave. This was on Twitter the other day.
Essentially, supposedly, they're asking people like the companies or the people and businesses that live there essentially for money to pay for their protection. So it's a giant protection racket. The mafia already did this.
Yeah, I'm surprised the mafia's not ticked the loss of income. Actually, a tweet on Twitter right now. The homeless people we invited took away the food at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. We need more food to keep the area operational. Please, if possible, bring vegan meat substitutes, fruits, oats, soy products, etc. Anything to help us eat.
Vegans with guns.
Have you seen the meme? Have you seen the meme it's got the like anarchy
terrifying.
or ball or whatever? The communist. Know the little like characters from the memes, but it's got the like communist one, and it's got the Xbox achievement unlocked. Peak communism achieved. 48 hours. 48 hours they achieved peak communism with starvation and everything.
Hey, parents. This is what sending your kid to an Ivy League school for an art history degree gets you.
Hey, listen, some of us like
12
our
blocks,
right?
12 blocks in Seattle. 12 square blocks of Seattle. Well done, parents. Well done.
How many people
It looks like they're popping up in
I'm
other
just
cities.
done. I'm done right now. I'm like, you know what? Bring it.
It looks like they're popping up in other cities too, though.
Which should be terrifying.
Supposedly there is in Asheville,
is
North
like-
Carolina, they're creating
Wait,
one.
is that shocking
supposedly.
though? Is that shocking,
The
Asheville?
problem is,
No.
I mean, it's like it's hippie
hipsters.
sky kingdom there. It's a beautiful place.
Philadelphia, there's one being created by the Workers Revolutionary Collective.
Oh, wow.
Nashville, they're kind of trying to start one up in Nashville.
That's
So yeah,
That's interesting.
It's
So
just,
okay, so we got
kinda
four
weird.
cities,
Kinda
four
weird what's
cities
going
right
on.
now.
Can
Probably
you
more.
imagine though, like if some right wing militia group took over 12 blocks of a city? Can you imagine the outcry
Well,
and like the news reaction?
dude,
Not that I'm saying I support some of those crazy right wing militias either. I'm just saying the
Yeah.
absolute
Right.
bias in the news reporting of.
oh
these
yeah.
things.
All joking aside, this is terrifying. I don't know how it's going to end. I am actually very, very concerned about the election coming because we're seeing this. I'm very concerned about November. No matter who wins in November, I'm very concerned because if
Well,
Biden
and the
wins, the
mayor-
progressives are gonna go nuts. Who knows how many people are gonna reject the fact that Biden won. If Trump wins, who knows what's gonna happen from the
Same thing.
progressives?
We already
Like
saw
I
it.
know, same thing we just saw: riots
but
in the
is it gonna-
streets,
I was going to say, is it going to be worse? That's the thing.
and that's unfortunately my
You know,
prediction.
Yeah, it is gonna be
Because
worse.
I mean, you had.
And again-
let's be honest, with Trump, you had people that were very strongly opinion, but there wasn't any physical action taking place. And now
meaning
you've
his
got
supporters or the people against
the
him.
people against him. Okay.
Yeah.
But now
Mhm.
you're going.
There was
to
just a lot
have,
of crying.
physical action is okay now, and
the
that's the
government
problem.
condones it. The government condones it.
That door's been unlocked, and that's the thing. Like these mayors, like out here in Seattle and stuff.
Pandora's box has
they're-
been opened.
Again, look at who is using these things for power. He's fully letting this play out because it pushes an agenda that works for him.
So Seattle is not shy to being occupied. This has happened numerous times over the last 8
Oh, yeah.
years, not 8 years, since the 80s. Since the 80s, they've had numerous groups rise up in armed insurrections and take over city buildings and claim them as their own until the city remodels the buildings and turns them into their headquarters, essentially. Yep. So you've had
Their clubhouse.
different community organizations who have taken over buildings or abandoned schools or whatever and forced the government into compliance. So this is not rare.
So what you're saying is, if I wanted property, I should have moved to Seattle.
Well, you can technically do it anywhere, I guess. It just depends
It's
on
like
the.
it's
Hey,
like old
coffee.
school. Well, no, but they comply. So it's like old school,
Well, yeah.
like claim staking. Like just go take over
no,
some.
no.
Name it and
buildings in
claim it,
Seattle
baby.
and they'll
Name it and
remodel
claim it.
for me.
Squatting.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it runs deep.
Mhm.
The education runs deep.
It's terrifying.
So the same people that are, for defunding the police, but are maybe for arming communists now, I don't know, probably people of the same political bent. Did you see this one?
I don't know
The
which one.
police were sent to a home in
confused.
Maryland
Oh yeah.
because a teacher filed a complaint about one of the kids in her virtual classroom. So everyone's been doing school from home because of COVID, right? Some of it's been pre-recorded videos, but some of it's been like live video instruction.
Yep.
So this fifth grader at Seneca Elementary School, he loves the outdoors. And so his parents have been teaching him how to shoot BB guns, airsoft guns, bows and arrows, starting out correctly, small, teaching him all the proper things. He has these things. He has his weapons, if you want to call them that, displayed on a pegboard in his room. So he's got a compound bow, looks like more of a normal bow,
Looks like
some training
responsibly
bows, and
up
he's
on a
got
wall.
a BB gun and an airsoft gun hung up on a wall,
then it
safely
looks like-
pointed, organized. Everything's very organized and
It also looks
supervised, and
like
he has them hanging
may
in the wall in his
have-
room.
He might have like
A mirror.
the one of these looks like it's fake. 'Cause I think
Mirror.
it's got an orange tip.
Airsoft on that
Yeah,
one.
it's an
There you
airsoft.
go.
There's an
It's
airsoft. He's
airsoft.
got
Okay.
he's got an airsoft. He's got an airsoft AR-15, but then he's
Right.
got like an actual Red Ryder BB gun. He's probably
Dude,
gonna shoot his eye
airsoft is
out,
so fun.
And And so he has these displayed, properly stored in his room. His teacher, not some kid, his teacher saw them in the background during his Zoom meeting for class, reported it to the police. The police showed up to the house to investigate.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, the parents let the police inside. It doesn't say whether they showed up with a warrant or not. It doesn't sound like they did. If they didn't, you're not coming in my house, but that's a different story. So, like, here's the mom saying, she's surprised they're there. I have no idea what to think. I've never been in any legal trouble whatsoever. I've never had a negative encounter with law enforcement.
If you're not doing anything illegal, Jeff, there's nothing to hide.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what you're taught. And so here, I felt violated. So this is according to, this is actually from an iHeart radio from a local radio station there, it looks like, website. 700 WLW, but she says, I felt violated as a parent for my child who's sitting there with all the police officers in his room just to see the fear on his face. I thought, this is outrageous. This is despicable, she said. I had no idea what in the world this could be over. BB guns never once even entered into my mind. How many 11-year-old boys have BB guns? So the officers were there for about 20 minutes. Finally, they left after they determined the family was not violating any laws. And here's the thing. The teacher took a screenshot of the kid in his room and sent that to law enforcement with the firearms in it.
Which all of a sudden privacy laws and everything just go out the window because
the parents are demanding to have the screenshot over, and the school refused to turn it over, claiming it's not part of his student record, so they don't have to show them the screenshot they took.
That's ridiculous.
And then here's what the principal said. Having a gun on display in a virtual classroom is the same as bringing one into a real classroom.
That's like saying you need to wear a mask in your virtual classroom so you don't spread corona.
Guys.
Exactly.
Guys.
He's not waving it around, pointing it at the screen. It's hung up in the background, properly stored.
I know that we have some fantastic teachers who are listening to the show and who participate in our chats and talk to us on our Facebook page.
And who wouldn't
y'all call your nuts? Take care of the people, like, deal with the crazies.
Yes.
Because this is nuts.
Where was this?
This is absolutely nuts. This was Maryland.
Maryland.
But Jeff, to your point though, with the whole idea of proof not being needed to send the cops to deal with the situation or any harm actually being done, I-80 in Nebraska, Seward County, a traffic stop resulted in the seizure of $1.9 million. Why is that? Suspicion of money laundering and suspicion of misuse of currency. That's why,
because basically if you have that much money, and here's the unfortunate thing: what justifies suspicion of money laundering and misuse of currency? Just having that much.
How much money? How much money can I travel with? 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 500,000. How much money is the threshold? Where's the threshold?
I'll be honest. I was in an airport the other day, and a guy coming through security behind me. They were using the body scanner, so nothing can be in your pocket, like even cloth, thing, they'll see it. And I hear the guy say something about, like, take your money out of your pocket or hold your money or something, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. So I turn around to see, and this guy, in both of his hands, they're folded in half, wads of bills, where his hand, like, he had to have it in two different hands because it filled both his hands of wads of bills. They could have all been ones. I don't know. They were probably more likely 20s or something. And I'm like, how much cash does this guy have on him? And I thought they were going to, at first I thought they were like inspecting his cash or suspecting him of something. It turns out, no, they were just doing the body scan thing, and he had to have that in his hands up so it didn't show in his pockets, and he didn't want to leave it in his...
I don't blame him.
Are you either trying to show it off, or do you not want to leave it in your suitcase because you think TSA might snag it?
Which is not.
But it was
rare.
a really weird experience for me. But that's like a lot of cash, and I was like, I'm surprised that he got through without any more questions about how much cash he had on him. And you're right. I get that most people don't, and you have to look for unusual things.
I mean, look. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. The guy was probably hauling money for a drug dealer. Okay, more than likely. I
But
understand
if
that.
you can't prove anything else, but he had a bunch of money on him.
Exactly. So we literally arrest the guy on the suspicion of it, and then we go prove the crime. This is the same thing that happened to Trump. This is the same thing that happened to Trump. When we open an investigation into Russiagate, I'm sorry, Jeff. I know. I'm sorry.
I swear, like Sean Hannity just popped up on our show.
Sorry.
Sorry. Like, this guy gets stopped with money. Same thing happened to Trump.
It's
I'm like,
true, though, Jeff.
Where'd Hannity come
It's
from?
true.
I dozed off a little bit.
Same thing happened with Trump was when we investigate him for X, and then we're like, well,
folks,
we found X, Y, and Z.
This is Mathis on a Trump defense rant.
I can't believe I'm doing this, guys. I can't believe I'm doing this.
It's a weird day. It's a weird day.
Guys, 2020.
No, you're right.
2020.
Hashtag
2020.
We can't arrest for a crime and then investigate it later and prove, you know what I'm saying? It's all backwards. It's all backwards.
It's like that is not innocent until proven guilty, which doesn't exist anymore. Anyways, guys, Poland invaded the Czech Republic.
About time.
Where do you want to go with this?
The Polish military admitted it accidentally invaded Czech Republic.
What did they cross the line?
They mistakenly crossed the country's border in late May. Before setting up there, they actually set up there.
Are they still confused about what their country is?
It insists that its brief occupation was simply a misunderstanding.
This was a misunderstanding due to the whole coronavirus thing.
It's Poland trying to expand. They wanted to see. They were like, "Hey, you know what? We saw this guy back in the '40s do this. Like, why not?"
No. That's hilarious.
Sorry.
Oh, we're so screwed. We're so screwed.
I'm sorry. How do you not know where your border is?
I mean, you'd think countries are like, okay, here's your line.
And of all the people to do this, it had to be Poland.
It
had to be. It couldn't have been any other country.
That's what I'm just saying. The Polish military screws up.
And as a Pole yourself, you can say that.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Just so that we don't insult any of our Polish listeners.
So funny.
I
love it so much. It's great.
How
long did it take the Czech Republic to realize this, or how long did it take Poland?
I think it was a couple weeks.
I want to know.
It must have been the Czech Republic.
People were being turned away. People were being turned away from a church that they were trying to get to that was supposed to be in their town. But it says.
What?
Let's see. It's the Polish government did not confirm how long its soldiers were present in the Czech Republic. Borders between European Union countries are often barely visible as citizens enjoy freedom of movement across the border.
Are there squatter laws in Poland, like in the Czech Republic in Poland?
I don't know, but if the government was squatting for that long, they probably owned it.
That's pretty funny.
I mean,
so. Apparently, there's like some road that just serves as the border, and I wonder if they just were like on the wrong side of the road.
So there is a road in
something super minor.
There's a road in northern Vermont, or maybe it's northern New York. Doesn't matter where it is. It's on the Canadian border, where the houses, in order to get out of your house, you have to drive into Canada.
Huh?
You literally drive into Canada to leave your driveway.
Isn't that like the border between Michigan and Indiana?
Oh, I know there's parts there too. Yeah,
basically,
a lot of the state
Indiana.
borders that way.
That was. I inspected a house down in Kansas Nebraska border the other day that was like that. Like the road was on,
and that's what they're saying.
Canada
is the
no, because
these are European. Now who's the Polish version?
Good grief, man. I'm gonna edit the whole show.
Who walked into that?
I said I ran into a similar situation on the Kansas-Nebraska border.
Yeah, and I said it borders Canada.
Ran into Canada.
No,
right.
Anyways, continue. I love you guys.
There's no point.
Where were we?
The fight over dipping sauce. That's where we were.
What is this? Because I'm ready to.
Okay.
Wait. Was this what the occupation was over? Was the occupation over dipping sauce?
It probably should have been.
Last week.
Shockingly, this does not involve Florida. Dell City Police. This is in Oklahoma. Del City police, this is outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, have identified 2 suspects who are believed to be responsible for the disturbance at a Sonic drive-in in Del City that resulted in a glass door being shattered.
Wait, Sonic workers attacked over wrong chicken tender sauce.
Yes. Do not give the wrong sauce. A male suspect threw a glass bottle
barbecue
through the door before they left the scene. They're looking for 2 people who became so enraged about their Sonic car hop giving them the wrong order that they went on a smash and grab.
What?
Okay, that might be editorializing like
so hold on. The driver handed back the food to the employee and pointed to the receipt after an exchange of words. And the store manager came out and said, "We're refusing you service." Minutes later, the food chain's manager threw the cash back into the car and asked repeatedly for the pair to leave. The woman unbuckled the seatbelt and got out and started yelling, or I guess tried to go through the door. The man hopped out and started punching the window. The woman tried dragging the man away, but he broke free and came back and demanded his food. Employees of the Sonic Drive-In locked the building down. And then when they thought all was clear, the man is caught on camera reaching down to the floorboard and chucking a glass bottle straight at them.
Listen, everybody's sleeping now.
So there was no smash and grab.
Yeah, that was definitely editorial.
He just read that article with his like 3rd grade level reading skills and
whoa, hold on.
4th grade.
That is a quote from KFOR Oklahoma News, Channel 4.
I bet it sounded better when
what I'm saying
smash and grab.
The smash and grab quote. I saw the quote and I said that's editorializing by the article. You proceeded to
and
read
then I
the
said,
whole
let's
article
check
very
the article.
choppily.
Let's check the article and see what it says.
Asleep. Everyone's asleep.
And so, yeah, they didn't smash and grab. They just smashed. They went all Hulk on the place. The car behind the suspects chased after them and reported the license plates to 911.
He's still going.
So,
he's still going.
We have to report the story, guys.
People got mad about a sauce and broke a window.
We don't.
That's all Jeff needs to know.
Listen, we did not care this much about Poland invading the Czech Republic to figure out what was going on. That's it. We're done.
There you go.
Take it out.
www.thefrontporchshow.com. We will see you all next week if they let us back on the air.
It's questionable at this point.
They may not. You can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, anywhere where you like to get your online content. We are there, including YouTube, where you can see our beautiful faces and our sparkly lights and our ever-changing hats. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.